Well, we'll see. Is Dan still admin? I didn't hear from him for quite a time. That's unfortunate. They should have close to morning in Australia. On one hand, it's great that we are on all places on the earth. Yet sometimes the time discrepancy is a bit pain in the ass. It's great because it's before weekend.
Testing, testing.
Sounds good. Welcome, Bormaster.
All right, well, that seems to work then. So, who all are we expecting?
He might not have signal.
I doubt it. That boy loves some attention. He ain't gonna pass up a chance like this. I'll have one in your name. Yeah, that's some damn fine nicotine. This is how you get pirates.
Well, does that offer to buy a frigate from Navy stand? Time to start saving.
That's a boy.
Why wouldn't you want to start this early?
Man, it's noon somewhere.
Maybe.
Greetings.
He's working, so. You're lucky I got here as this time. Usually I'm still coming home from work at this point.
Warsmith, that you?
Of course it's me.
Hey, man.
What's going on?
Oh, living the dream.
Whose? And while I don't have the option of our resident bartender's fancy cocktail, I did remain festive in that the Warsmith is drinking Howitzer.
Oh, that is a delightful whiskey, ain't it?
It's pretty fucking good, yeah.
Got a bit of spice to it. I enjoy it.
Usually I have it with ginger, but right now it's with Dr. Pepper because fuck it, that's what I've got. What's up, pup? Spearheading the madness?
There's
If-
only ever one thing in the War Master household.
You could also showcase on the stream, like
I'm willing to take Lucas's word on 99% of combinations. It's when he starts.
Well, then we should have done this for the next one, where we cover Slanesh.
Well, you said alcohol and Slanesh. He's already here. Bloody hell. You seem
Oh.
to think it's that one.
I swear I'm a fucking sailor, so, there's that. But at least people are used to that.
It's true. At least our page isn't like, PG-13. Like everyone expects us to swear and curse.
Well, yeah, but that kind of fell by the wayside ages ago.
Okay, fine. It's 18A. There. Okay, fine. ESRB not approved.
Administratum definitely not approved.
Yeah, fuck them. And then realizing one day that you've grown sexually attracted to piles of paper. Paper
That is
cuts.
some
Elite to Slanesh.
sexy vellum right there. Or just inducted into the Mechanicum.
Well, the calm side of that would be right, I guess. Oh god, yeah, your cliff notes. Like, what the fuck are we talking goals.
All right, so where the fuck are these cliff notes?
There is some. Did you put in the Discord chat like a good little boy, or did you put in the Mournival chat that we got to scroll up and through? Remember, alcohol is involved, so let's make this like. You need permission.
And do we want to drag our cultist in on this?
Why not?
Our cultist!
That was. I heard no. That O was there was an N preceding that O. There was definitely an N before that.
Get on the Discord. I can use the same thing. And another Jack and Coke. This one's broken. It's empty.
If you can dodge a beer, you can write a document.
All right, can Jesus, can you just throw me the document like on Messenger? Because
it's in the Discord chat there, bro.
Oh, that narrows it right down.
The giant screen you're looking at with the voice chat.
Yeah, I just see the 4 names of you guys. This is why I have other people do the tech shit.
Because you're shit at tech?
Yes, because I'm shit at tech.
This is why he's the War Master and not the logistics specialist.
Bingo.
Luckily, I'm only custodies.
I'm gonna sound like an absolute asshole, but Arcazad, who in the 9 hells are you?
I'm Milosh.
Oh, well there you go. Evening.
Should I rename myself here?
No, I just didn't know what Arcazad was, so we're all under Nom de Guerres, so. Yeah, I'm here for ranting and diatribe. That's kind of what I do. I have all my books and my lore books beside me, so, you know, within vague reach. I'd have to move, but, you know, it is what it is. Well, considering his topic and rules change every, like, few editions. Oh, God. Really enough that I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, generally, until it's mentioned otherwise, whatever has been said is still gospel. Until otherwise informed. Until it's been squatted. No, there isn't. Those are ratlings. There's ratlings. Necromunda is its own thing. Is its own. It's not connected canonically to 40k, even though it's taking place on a higher world. There's also a Beastman mercenary, so.
Alright, I changed my nickname, sorry.
The 501st goat fuckers.
Well, I mean, that was all a thing back in 2nd edition Chaos Codex. I mean, Regiments Beastmen. More or less, yeah.
This life.
That wonderful little big old slideshow that Mr. John gave us. We're gonna get cracking. How about it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, baby. All right, everyone. Welcome to the first, if not first of many. We'll call it Drunk Hammer, but that sounds derivative. So we'll keep the title to be announced later on in the series. But I am joined by various wonderful cavalcade of folk, and if you want to introduce yourself, starting with you, Warmaster, of course. Give us a little intro.
Warmaster, some people even call me Arcady. I run the page where this whole blasphemous fuckery started.
Excellent. And we've all been kind of sort of together since previous pages that we will not of the fuckery that we will not mention, but I would actually call you our resident expert on chaos. And also with us is the Warsmith. Can you introduce yourself, plus?
They already said it. I'm just an admin. I'm here. Iron Warriors all the way. Always. Olympia.
And with that, a big ew. I'm the only Xenos here. I stream, and I am by myself, surrounded by disgusting Monkai. Though, some a little more honorable than the others. Would you like to introduce yourself, Milos?
Well, I'm known as Watchful Custodian on the page. I am one of the newest addition to the admin team, and I'm in Warhammer lore for quite a bit, few years, and I had the pleasure to be added to the admin team.
No, for sure, man. It's honestly been great being able to talk to like just a bunch of randos who have become friends about something that if I mention to one of my friends who's playing StarCraft or whatever, just a giant question mark just appears on their face. But
Counter this though, Milos, as a quick interjection. Is it an honor to be on the admin team, or is it some kind of vague punishment that Arcady is working on?
Well, it's great honor because I became friend with John when he was writing stories, and what I think kind of helped me to get into adminning was that I played it for Russ's life in his story when he was outnumbered by Magnus forces of chaos.
That makes a lot
Which
of
is
sense.
little funny, please.
It's pretty hilarious. Today's topic, I want to say topic singular, like very loosely, because the main man himself, Tzeentch, is basically, to me, this giant Troll, he says he has this like grandmaster plan, but to be honest, most of the time he seems to fuck himself over more often than not.
Exactly as planned.
Exactly as planned. So I'm gonna pass it to you, the one, the only, the Arcady. Give us his overview.
Well, Tzeentch doesn't have any fucking clue what he's doing, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, he's I think the best expression of chaos in that he's got a billion and one plans for any situation, and half of those contradict the others. It's hard to ever catch a dude off guard when he has taken literally every fucking thing into account. Unless, of course, you just hit him. And I'm sure he never saw that coming because, nerd. Otherwise, I dig the imagery, dig his models. I got a whole bunch of Tzeentch stuff myself. And who doesn't want to kill a yak from 100 yards away with mind bullets?
I've always seen you more like a Slanesh. Obviously, the big Slanesh fan that you are. What interactions or what, like, how does Tzeentch fit into the whole Slaneshi cult, if you will?
There's a lot of lube that can fit anywhere.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Otherwise,
everything's a problem if you try hard enough.
Amen. Now, Tzeentch and Slanesh, I mean, all the gods hate each other to a given amount of hate each other, but Tzeentch and Slanesh can find a lot more common ground than, say, Tzeentch and Khorne, or Slanesh and Khorne, or more or less anybody in Khorne. Khorne's an asshole. So, I mean, they can put their heads together on rare occasion. It, I think, ties into the fact that Tzeentchian cultists and Slaneshi cultists, in their own unique ways, are kind of striving towards perfection. I mean, one through magic and enlightenment, the other one through mind-bending drugs and excess. If you could just put the two together, well, you'd have Cenobites, but it would be awesome.
Cenobites with a librarian complex.
Ooh. Sexy skirts and tentacles. I mean, whether they be boys or girls is irrelevant because they're still sexy. But I do appreciate that that point of view when it comes to the Slanesh Tzeentch.
If I'm not mistaken, Tzeentch is the main driving force of Chaos in Undivided.
Well, yeah, he signifies. I mean, I know it's in his name, the Changer of Ways, but like he, as the War Master put it, he is literally chaotic. He to the point of like insanity. Even looking at him drives mere mortals insane.
I think he was definitely the one that got the highest dose of Lovecraft influence when the boys at G-Dubs were writing these guys up.
Oh, guaranteed.
Oh, definitely. You have the whole sea creature thing going on, tentacles, mutations, craziness, and I think
the tentacles and sea creature thing is kind of ubiquitous to most of Chaos Undivided, like the Spawn and the Valkyrie and the Harpies and that kind of thing.
Well, I think when it comes to like Khorne, it's very straightforward, like muscular, very animalistic mutations.
Well, Khorne is just the cover of an 80s Motorhead album. Like, that's really all Khorne is.
And what's wrong with that?
Absolutely nothing.
Heavy metal, the board game. Alrighty then, let's get down to the. I want to say mild. I'm actually at this point. At this point, I'm pretty drunk, which is great.
Off to a good start.
Let's Let me look at this little thing. So let's describe this bird man. It was really funny because when I said bird, when I was like talking to myself, typing this whole thing up, and I said Birdman, my girlfriend just sent me GIF after GIF of a Birdman attorney at law, and I couldn't. I was so happy to know that she was my woman.
A horrible mix between that and Michael Keaton.
Dear God. GIF.
Well, that explains Kairos.
So actually, while I was doing the research, like I mentioned earlier, I felt like super. Like, I felt like, okay, I guess I'm not really a fan because I don't know all this like off the top of my head. But I didn't realize Tzeentch himself, who is described as this like hunched. They describe him as like his head is in his middle of his chest basically, and is like he's got these big horns. You know, I basically thought of an orc because that's like you see the orcs and like their heads are like in their chest.
It's not wrong, but it's more like. Do you guys remember the red thing from Bugs Bunny and Tweety, the red monster?
Oh yeah, the Yeti.
Tasman.
The red fur monster that chased people around.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's basically Tzeentch when they take the fur away, put on horrible screaming face and like a slimy purple skin.
And it's like, and like he has like a fog like around him that like shows the faces of the many people he's about to fuck with. And every time he speaks, the various mouths like say something, like they say the same thing but they say it differently, or they say it in a like a different insinuation or what have you, which is pretty cool to know that you are always getting fucked with.
When G-Dubs wrote this stuff, very late 70s, early, there was a ton of acid everywhere.
A ton of acid?
Yes.
Ooh.
Though, hey, I will counter this one. It was in UK, so maybe
All right.
acid, but
They needed their LSD license.
I wanna say if it was because it was written in the UK, it would have more than likely been like some variation of shrooms or Molly. That's what they have available. They didn't have acid per se.
That sounds plausible.
Which is rather unfortunate. But as you can see in our slideshow, you'll see the fellow with the face in his crotch, and like the monster just kind of like leaning over, like that's what Tzeentch would look like.
okay,
But
I thought we were doing Tzeentch, not Slash.
But the the thing that I was talking about specifically about Kairos Fate Weaver earlier is that Tzeentch cannot actually see every single strand of the future, which was like confusing to me because he's like the big nerd. But he basically had to perform this great quest and go to like the center of reality. And he was basically just chucking his birdmen like into this like well of eternity. And they were just not coming back, and he's like, shit, I really need to know. So then he turns to his visor. He's like, you are going in there right the fuck now. And then like he's like, okay, and he goes in there, and he survives, because he has to, because lore.
Plot armor.
Yeah, no, super plot armor. And he was this very young avian creature with the one head when he went in. He was like a lord of change. And then he comes out and he's like this very wrinkly old man with like two heads.
Yeah, he turned into an extra from the Dark Crystal.
Which is glorious.
Or a cross between a Skeksis and the Thing from Antarctica.
Ooh, that's so much better.
Right?
He reminds me a bit of Brahma, but only with one less face and head. Which also kind of explains that he cannot see the present, but sees all the past, all the future.
Oh yeah, we talked about this earlier. How you mentioned that there were like a few.
Norse gods,
Yeah,
like Mimi.
hmm which is pretty rad. It's pretty rad. All right, Mr. Warsmith, you're up. You're gonna tackle.
Because I have done any practice or research for this topic. Let's do this.
Fuck it, man. As my aviation ordnanceman would say, fucking send it. Tell us about
We're doing it live.
we're doing it live.
There we go.
Exactly. What is his what is his deal? Like what is the what are his powers, his influence, like his whole shebang? Give us like the general overview.
From
You
what?
you got the thing. You got the thing. I sent you the thing.
Well, we'll circle back to the wonderful, the administratum pleb with the unfortunate attraction to his paperwork. Howitzer.
Shrugs in Spanish.
I'm just going to use him as a viewpoint, basically, rather than just being like, this is what Tzeentch is. I'm going to talk about more how Tzeentch is seen by your average pleb.
No, of course.
Because I don't want to see Tzeentch. Fuck that guy. But anyway.
I mean, you are a siege monster. You are not a Tzeentch monster.
Not by choice. Anyway, digress. To most humans, as it were, like most average schmuck humans that don't really have anything to do, or any hope really, I would think that Tzeentch personifies basically even more so than Slanesh in a way, and Arkady, hear me out on this one. He personifies something that even Slanesh can't give them, a forbidden fruit that even he doesn't offer them, and that's in the Imperium and in the crushing administrated and applied ignorance bubble that is Imperium man. Tzeentch offers knowing, enlightenment, usually about the worst possible things, and the things that won't help you in the long run, but you think they will at the time. So when someone gets desperate enough, like when someone spends a day or something like that, that will back to our pleb, if he has to go down to like the data stacks or something and find this one file about this one freighter, whoever, whatever, and he tries and tries and tries and can't find it, man, he's basically facing censure and or servitor life for failure. Tzeentch, that need and want to know feeds our monster. So, and when he finds it, that little elation is the key to open up the door to him. That little elation of knowing, of finding that locale. And slowly, he worms his way in more. And what he wants, well, no one knows what the fuck he wants. But what he offers is knowing, is fantastic power with a lot of fine print. And he offers the options of knowing a way out or knowing information on betters that let you worm your way up or work your way up. And I'm kind of rambling on this one, and I'm losing track of the core.
Of course, it's the liquor, the elixir of the gods.
5 steps in, but it's Friday and it's been a long week.
No, I feel you. I feel you.
Amen.
So, what was the original question? Just so I can get back on track.
It was basically, it was like, what is his deal? Like, what is his powers, his influence, his
power is change. His power, like it's in his name, the changer of ways, the architect of fate. It's all about altering odds. It's about changing the nature of things.
the endless scheming, right?
The scheming, I think, actually, you know what? In a way, I think the scheming is a wonderful mantle that human and mortal brains have attached to this giant pile of insanity and probability altering that is Tzeentch. Part of me thinks that yes, he's scheming all the god scheme, but he's nowhere near the schemer that everyone thinks he is. But he does have reflexive and almost animal instinct probability shifting. So when things look like they're planned to everyone else, in the end, when you take the macro view, really it's just this giant pile of amorphous, kaleidoscopic goo fire hunting things left and right. What he does have is an incredible wealth of knowledge. Problem is, and anyone here will know the people I'm talking about, anyone listening will know what I'm talking about, that guy who knows too much.
Oh, so he basically just has like this giant library of knowledge and doesn't know. Well, he makes it seem like he knows how to apply it, but like he just knows. Yeah.
He's the dude that when shit goes his way, from fluke, he'll be like, "Yep, planned it the whole time."
Meanwhile, he's half remembering a Macbeth quote while he's making gingerbread cookies out of like lawn care products. Like he knows how to use all these things individually, but he has no filter to concentrate and parse it out to apply it. So it's all just kind of thrown at the wall, and we're gonna see what sticks. And hey, that stick. That's what I meant to throw.
To be fair, that is me on any given day until I've had my morning.
We're not talking about your bathroom, Arcady.
That honestly, this is gonna sound terrible, but that sounds like the Navy in general. Let's just throw shit at the problem, and then whatever sticks was like, yeah, that's what we meant to do. That was the whole sustainment plan.
How do you think artillery works?
Well, I mean that's more of like that's how it was designed to do, and the Navy is supposed to be like this.
You give us grid coordinates, and we just say, okay, let us know when that grid is flat, and then we're good.
And we'll keep flattening that shit. Which is great. I think that's a very good overall explanation, I suppose, of like what he's about. I think a lot of people do give him this, like he's like the omnipotent, all-knowing monster, when in reality he's just a
Laser Floyd show with a library card.
Yeah. And
I think he is most likely like paranoid person. He thinks about a lot of things, and he has like insanity. He has the distorted reality, the perception, because all the altered perception leads to planning and scheming and so on.
Imagine
he is all-knowing. He is absolutely all-knowing. He knows literally everything. The problem is that he knows literally everything.
Yeah. Imagine if we just gave him a heroic dose of Adderall. How like effective.
How to defeat Tzeentch. Ritalin.
You would literally just stop him in his tracks.
So
the answer to Ritalin is unfortunately contacting Nurgle, which is his biggest rival. I would call him rival. I would call him rival, and along a lot of people, or a few people, would say they're enemies. But if anything, I would say the Chaos Gods are more like really big brothers who are always shitting on each other. And there's a few who they don't like agree with, but
ultimately they represent two just diametrically opposing forces. I mean, whereas Tzeentch is constant change without any even real direction. Nurgle is stasis. Nurgle is, death, entropy. It's the end of things, whereas Tzeentch is purely beginning.
Yeah.
It's just the exact opposite.
I feel like Art Cultist wants to jump on this, but like...
Get in here.
Art Cultist is sitting on the window, scared to fall out, because
well, then get in here and be safe. It's safe in here.
If it's more than like 3 stories, then yeah, you're boned. But like,
it's 14, it'll be fine.
Yeah, just land on swan dive. Why not?
I'm gonna quote Bender on this one. Say somebody fat get in my way.
We call that a lookout, sir.
Look out!
Heroic intervention.
Heroic drugs. Well, that's pretty. That's pretty rad. Fucking
My diatribe's done. Someone else is up.
my diatribe. Actually, the wonderful Milos wanted to talk about the followers of
Followers.
Tzeentch. Like
From
the various covens, the various chaos space marines. What was it, like renegade?
demons and so on, and
I-
even people
I-
of Imperial.
I know that Khorne has the Blood Pact specifically when it comes to like highly organized renegades, but during my research, it seems that Tzeentch doesn't. But he does have like a few cults that are like that have like specific goals and aims, and I really did appreciate that.
Let me lean over here if I can do this safely in a reclining office chair.
Don't die, at least not live.
I believe in you.
I promise nothing, because I have the Tome of Fate sitting right here that may actually give some Tzeentch cults.
Ooh, nice. But I will pass this on, this wonderful torch of knowledge, to Milos.
Well, as so.
You
we
have
were
Milos.
talking-
You have the con. Steady as she goes. I'm gonna make some more of these drinks. You guys go ahead and.
Well, so first of those scouts, Blades of Magnus. It's interesting because they were meant to save Magnus from himself and to restore him, even though the Magnus himself destroyed them and bound themselves. It's like interesting topic, like as the fall of Prospero and so on. Like many sorcerers try to save Magnus and Thousand Suns, and in the end they all fall. And even Magnus helped to prevent their, I would say, in.
I'll counter that. This is probably a topic for another day, to be honest, like another diatribe for another time. But Magnus did not try and save his sons. He made a deal with Tzeentch without reading the fine print and then regretted the decision. And then didn't bother to tell his followers not to do the same because they occasionally fell the other rubric.
Oh no, Magnus fucked up.
I agree. And then
There's half the audience gone because we just said Magnus did something wrong.
Well, oh no, we're down to 2 instead of the 4 we had.
Does our cultist count as one of those?
Yes.
Audience participation. Yeah.
Listen, Scrapple.
well, I know about 2 friends of mine who are listening. One of them
Well,
is
there's the
my
other
girlfriend.
People to listen to this? Wow. How many? What did you bribe them with?
I just told them that I will be online and participating.
Hey, rock on.
And it's a bit funny because since English is my native language, and I was really nervous.
Yeah, so
Fun.
Vile Monkai,
Then,
I have returned.
English is
then the Brotherhood of Dust, which was created by Aemon to counteract the rubric.
I'm sorry, what?
I believe he is. I believe he's talking about the. Oh my god. The blades. The blades of Magnus. No, not the blades of Magnus. Yeah, the blades of Magnus, or the Brotherhood of Dust. I heard
We
Aemon.
switched the topic, and Aemon was killed by the Ahriman who took his place there, and they are still trying to counteract the rubric of Ahriman.
Considering Ahriman's still adjusting his rubric as of the trilogy.
Is he still messing with the rubric? This is where I had run into some problems during the research.
In the trilogy that just came out by John French, which just came out like a couple of years ago. Fantastic books, by the way.
I did enjoy the short stories. I didn't read the full blown novellas, but it seemed like he was still fucking with it.
He was
In a
trying.
nutshell, Ahriman follows the Thousand Suns creed of, if at first you don't succeed, fail again.
He did fail forward on this.
I would like to point out
He may have fallen down.
that you are correct, but I don't agree. I really just feel bad for the Spire Guard, to be honest.
Yeah, those poor bastards did not deserve the shit handed down on them.
They were literally just like, we serve the Emperor, and then like 2 seconds later, like, hey, you don't serve the Emperor anymore, you serve me. Which is unfortunate, because they do. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen their conversion floating around.
Don't think I have, actually.
Oh yeah, some guy went out of his way and did wonderful, wonderful conversions of the Spire Guard.
Oh, awesome.
No, when in the books, like fair warning, like I think we should probably include a spoilers on this friggin' channel if we do this again. Like warning, mature content and spoilers.
This is a learning experience, and they're about to learn.
So, yeah.
We're going to spoil things and say fuck a lot. You've been warned.
Sounds like
Is that really a spoiler, or is that just like the norm these days?
for most of the people in this group it is.
No, you're right. Right. Unfortunately, I didn't tell you guys, but I got a message from a concerned parent, and I was like, "Look, dude, like your kid probably shouldn't have internet if he's like 10."
If it does, you should have had parental filters on that thing. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, so basically through the book, the series, the trilogy, one, Armon finally comes to grips with the fact that, hey, I'm a sorcerer, I should probably do sorcerer shit.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of it, he does fail forward. He fails again with, don't get me wrong, like he falls down like 5 more stairs on that staircase. But again, it's an escalator, just a really, really slow one. And with that fail forward, he, at the very end, one of the rubrics that was there actually said his name, like out loud said his own name.
Yeah.
So that big little ending basically said that he's got some kind of personality back into this one pile of dust inside of a machine, and that basically is reinforcing him to keep going.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if we're gonna go with that, like Kaon in the Abaddon books, he had a rubric say his name and actually have a brief conversation. Shit, not
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
Horus. Maybe they just do it themselves every now and then.
It's true. Maybe actually the rubric Marines are fucking with everyone. They turn them into dust like they're bitter.
They're just really, really upset about the fact that.
Give a 10,000 year vote of silence.
Yeah, honestly, maybe they're just pissed off that they're the contents of my ashtray in the bottom of some power.
Well, if I remember correctly, the only Marines that were turned to dust were the ones who didn't show like a significant like connection to the
Psycho
warp.
powers.
Yeah, like they didn't show like significant psyker powers. They weren't in any big cult within the Thousand Suns. They were like the tactical Marines that were just turned into dust, and
anyone under squad captain, basically.
yeah, so like, but everyone else, like every other schmuck above them, got elevated like super magic powers, and like you might be right, they might just be pissed. I mean, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing your best. You're some squad sergeant who's saved your captain's life 6 times during the Great Crusade. Suddenly, you're a pile of dust, and this asshole can cast magic missile like nothing's business.
Yeah, like I'd be salty as fuck.
Justice in that.
Fuck you, Magnus! I'm not saying a damn word. You red bastard.
Like this is just the 10,000 year equivalent of your girlfriend giving you the silent treatment.
which would be fairly normal these days.
We'll say this though as a quick again jog.
Yeah.
Track into another error code. The Thousand Suns, like if you look at what the Thousand Suns did, like the whole journey of the Thousand Suns,
Yeah.
Basically, with Ahriman trying to find Rubik and Magnus saying, knock it off, don't do that, but never really telling him why you need to knock it off and stop doing that. Doesn't that really sound familiar to what
That's a
his dad
literally
did?
he literally pulled Emperor and like just told them like, hey, don't do the thing, and they're like, why?
Because I said so.
Well, fuck you, Dad. I'm doing the thing.
Yeah.
You just told a legion that specializes in finding out the why on everything, not to do something because you said so.
Yeah. Which, if I read the notes correctly, so the Brotherhood of Dust, they were created by Amon, etc., etc., and then
And they changed into prodigious sons after.
which
Ahriman took over.
unfortunately, and I know this is gonna make everyone like sigh and cringe.
Probably.
The Prodigal Sons, their only book that they, if I remember correctly, other than the John French ones,
Wouldn't be Prodigal Sons.
Prodigal Sons. The Prodigal Sons, all they have is the Dawn of War CS Gato ones.
He shall not be named.
He should. I mean, are we gonna like make a quick vote? Can we call him the worst author in? Because I've read some of his old shit. Like someone sent me his old, like his very first novels, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, why was he
We'll
give?
say one of, yes.
All right. He is
Agreed.
He is on
probably
the
the
council of
worst.
Fail.
Probably.
Even if Nick Kime is the one that personally angers me the most.
So Mick Kime, like, so I read Promethean Sun, and I can see why he pisses you guys off, but
Oh no, you wanna see why it pisses him off. Read Vulcan Lives.
Vulcan Lives. I'm not that far along. I don't know why I read Promethean Sun. I read it like a few nights ago.
Read Vulcan Lives,
My
and you will see that basically Snidely fucking Whiplash apparently is his villain set.
Conrad Kurz suddenly turns into a fucking mustache twirling Saturday morning cartoon villain.
Oh, I remember John educating me.
Somebody to a fucking set of train tracks and saying, "You'll never get me." It's fucking ridiculous.
Do that again.
No.
For the viewers.
Arcadia, congratulations, you have become a ringtone to someone somewhere.
I'll make it happen. Don't worry. I'm recording this.
You vile bastards, I hate you all.
Technology! Someone needs to make a gif of, like, Petarubo just, like, screaming, science! Oh, God. We're
glare.
you can try. Okay, we're talking about Tzeentch here. Doesn't mean you should, but you can try.
The sin isn't that you did it. The sin is that you tried.
Well, since we are about Tzeentch, when people from the page will see the podcast, they might come up with fresh meme.
Hella memes. I don't know how I feel these days about the meme quality.
Yeah, but that would imply seeing new memes on our fucking page, which I've given up on years ago.
Look. This is what happens. G-Dub releases something. We'll see the meme for 6 months. G-Dub releases something else. Then we see the new meme. Like that's the memes are scheduled on Games Workshop releases.
You're forgetting something very important. You're forgetting the stuff about a decade.
Discord is cutting you out, our cultist. It tells you want to get in here.
Oh.
Ooh.
I'm in here. I'm in here in spirit mostly, but I am here.
Hashtag ooh.
Not getting me a drink. Which is now.
No, but it makes I guess it makes some kind of awful sense, like, you know, like.
So in the end, it's one great plot of Tzeentch and GW.
Well, Tzeentch, I think, is a joke, kind of. It's a representation of the trolling, the endless trolling. He has hella, like for example, his favorite number is arbitrarily 9. Like, why?
He just picked it because it was higher than everyone else's.
because like I'm sure he was the nerd that waited. He's like, well, I'm Nurgle, and this is my number, and I'm Korn, this is my number. I'm the youngest Slanesh god, this is my number. He's like, oh, excellent, this is my number.
I think it's far.
Well,
I think maybe just the guy who originally wrote it was German, and they asked him for a number, and he said no.
Oh, he just said no 9.
Oh,
And then like,
that's just number makes sense.
that actually, you know what? His number being no in German makes a lot of sense. It's like, Tzeentch, what is this answer? No.
Hey,
or well, it's 3 times 3. Or if you use addition, like 3 threes, and it also makes sense with fractal. If we look upon this part of lore.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So so Ahriman says like this whole like this big old like blurb or paragraph like, and don't ask me to do so. I've been listening to the audio dramas and I've realized people have accents. Like I've been reading the books with like an American accent, sometimes Mexican when I read Crimson Fist.
Pedro.
Senor. Which makes a lot of sense because they love drop pods.
Hey, for the Emperor, man.
Órale for the Emperor, senor.
Andale.
Bro, andale dot times 10.
Andale is the name of the machine spirit inside the drop pod.
And so Ahriman is like 9 is the number most sacred to the Changer of Ways. It is only upon tracing the 9th sigil that the runes of change scroll begin to glow. So basically, it's like you need 9 cultists, you need 9 this, 9 that, and it feels so. If you read it and you're like, "Oh, this is so deep, this makes a lot of sense," and then you start thinking of these like Cthulhu like magical gatherings. And if you just think about it, like, no, the dude is just trolling. Like, he doesn't care.
He chose as an arbitrary number. Actually, you know what? No, he didn't choose it as an arbitrary number. He didn't go like pick a number. I don't fucking know, 9. But no, and an example of this would be in the Vengeful Spirit, the Horus Heresy book, the Vengeful Spirit, when Malagar did was summoning, I think it was Samus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Summoning a demon either way, and basically he did this whole big thing involving the number 16. Goes level 16. And
I think that's when they bring in Tormageddon.
And they brought in this demon. The demon's like, what's with this sacrifice? What's with all these numbers? He's like, well, these numbers are sacred. To who? To us, to the 16th Legion. They're numbers that are sacred and important to us. And he's like, I don't give a shit about 16. This is your thinking, not mine.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, and they kind of hint at it throughout there. And I think they do it quite well at it, in that so much of this is the mortals shaping the warp and its denizens with their own.
So I don't mean to get religious on you guys, which is I do mean to get religious because I was in fucking seminary. I was in seminary school for like 4 fucking years. So I gotta put this knowledge of some use. Goddammit.
Whose fault is that?
Then you discover sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Thanks, Slanesh.
Really? No, 100%. So every time I hear or I see an explanation of the warp, as like the warp is like an echo of the material realm, I can't help but think of the whole prayer that like as it is in earth, it is in heaven.
As above, so below. It's not a new theme, no.
Yeah, it's not a new theme. So maybe the demons or the chaos gods could, in theory, be controlled if we could control like the way that humanity, not humanity, because it's also like Xenos and all these like other creatures. The way
every single mentally active being in the galaxy, then yes, you can put a stopper on some of them.
Exactly, like a mild, and when I like a mild stopper, because like because for example, Korn, when you're like transfusing blood, you're in a like roundabout way, like empowering the man because he just loves blood.
All right. Well, hold on. Before we go into corn that, let's use that as a jump point. Basically, what in our world empowers the beaky bastard?
Yeah, everything.
There are specific things like yes, there are things that overlap
Faith.
the gods, but
Children, faith.
True.
I said beaky bastard, not the wooden bastard.
Strive.
Delightful and amusing sin.
What?
Delightful, amusing, and creative sin.
From creative sin to original.
I think just like any kind of forward, I think like any forward momentum in any,
Yes.
regardless of it being good or bad. I don't think Tzeentch cares whether or not the progress is morally good or morally bad. I just think he just cares that there's change being done.
Well, exactly.
Change,
You know.
writing down things, acquiring knowledge, hoarding knowledge, keeping secrets.
Mm-hmm.
These little things hint and prickle.
Now.
Insert blood ravens now.
Different god.
No, I'm not saying the keeper of secrets because that is just that's just a goat-faced master of pillow talk. That I'm talking about like having a secret and keeping onto it and not telling someone else. And that's what Tzeentch has. He has literally all the secrets. He won't tell it.
Which is a good segue because the way that he is accessed is like you guys said earlier, you'll be like this administratum like pleb looking for shit, you know.
Fuck. We screwed this poor guy.
And he's just trying to do his job, and maybe subconsciously he's like, please, whatever higher power that is up there, let me find this shit fast now. I want to eat or whatever. And Tzeentch gives him this little morsel, like here's the thing you were looking for, you know. And maybe he says, oh, thank you, or whatever, and then he moves on. And like he subconsciously every single time he's looking for something, he prays. He thinks he's praying to the emperor or to whatever imperial nonsense that his planet practices.
Great, kaleidoscopic, feathered emperor.
Please, colorful bird guy, I'm sure you're the emperor. And eventually he's like, you know what? Maybe if I just sit here and pray to this feather guy, he'll give me the power. And perhaps a demon of Tzeentch like kind of like comes down like, hey bro, like look, you have to promise, like we've been helping you. You gotta do, you know, you gotta give us, you know, quid pro quo. You gotta give us some shit back. So he agrees, but they slowly withhold like the most important pieces of knowledge until he's like 100% committed, and like Tzeentch is like, yes, you are my minion now.
You have now attained the feather duster hand. You now get the final secret. That was entirely pointless the entire time.
Yeah, it's like the knowledge that he was seeking in the end becomes like who cares? Like I don't care about that shit anymore because now I got to pay this dude back.
It's drug dealer 101. The first one is always free. Then you want more and more, and you're willing to pay more to get it.
Speaking of more, I need to get some more. Be right back.
Is happy he's in California, but is sad that he is in the Navy.
Are we talking about you?
No. Fucking Canadians. We actually had a large assembly where the junior sailors and the not senior sailors, but like the middle of the road sailors were like, yo, like we got together with like the commanding officer. He was like, all right guys, like what's the issue? He's like, why the fuck do the Canadians get to have beards and smoke weed? Like what the fuck is going on?
Because we rock.
Because we know that basically if anyone picks a fight with us, you're going to answer the call because you don't like people being that close to you. So we kind of just kick back and hold the beer.
Oh yeah. That was actually generally his answer.
Yeah.
We live right next door to the two biggest naval forces in existence. We'll
And
be
I
okay.
mean, we also do go through our lives, man.
Well, by big naval forces, you must surely mean the U.S. and England, because Mexico's and like if you combined every like south of the border navy, you might have an okay Coast Guard.
No, that's what I mean. Like I thought the U.S. Navy and that was the biggest, and then the U.S. Coast Guard was the second biggest.
It is actually.
That's what I mean. Like we got the two biggest ones right next door. So
I mean, the Coast Guard uses like Cold War era ships, but in comparison to the rest of the world, they're just basically using what everyone else is using.
oh, we have Sea Kings for Air Force. The only thing they're seeking is the ground.
Poor bastards. You can have our F-35s. I'm tired of them.
Oh, gee, thanks.
We
So
spent...
Tzeentch,
Anyway, back on topic. Jesus Christ. Lord have mercy.
I blame Tzeentch.
I blame Lucas, because this shit is like... It's pure liquor.
You asked for it.
It's so yummy. And it's pretty.
I realized I didn't have to go anywhere. I had a bottle of cognac right next to my desk.
Oh, did you buy that, do
Doucet,
something?
yeah.
Yes, the Doucet.
So good.
Dude, my fucking my supervisor, he bought it for a party, but they never opened it. And then he tried it. He's like, "Ew, this is so gross. Who wants this?"
What is wrong with you?
And I'm like, dude, like, I'll take it. Like, don't worry. And he's like, then I was like, here's like a 30-pack of Corona to pay you back. He's like, oh, thanks, bro.
It's like $20 in beer for $100 worth of booze. You can't be fine.
I'm gonna say, here's a fine cognac. Enjoy a delightful.
I mean, Americans just don't know their beer, just like they don't know their anything. To be honest, like
They know their whiskey.
we do. And when Lucas said that a Woodford was a good well, I was like, I choked a little because that was my highest class liquor that I sold at the bar I worked at.
So very sick.
I was like, what kind of peasant am I?
They kind of does egg white in their cocktails. Lucas.
You know you can hear us, man.
I know you will hear us.
I had to drive 40 minutes out of my way to get one of the liquors that is involved in this drink.
That is dedication.
The elderflower liqueur. It is very yummy. It tastes like tamarind. I don't know if you...
Saint Germain.
Yes. Yes.
That is dedication to a cocktail to drive half the 45 minutes out of your way just for one bottle.
I mean, it's not the most. I'm from Kansas, which, if you want to go anywhere, it's a 6-hour drive.
Toto.
I know. Art Cultist knows about driving 4+ hours in any direction to get to anywhere.
The last school I actually went to was
God, I love.
yeah. Now I'm walking.
Fucking.
Kansas State University, EMA. This actually looks like the purple.
Now, I don't know why I'm the one doing this, but I'm gonna heroically try and drag us back to the feathery fuckery at hand.
No, feathery fuckery in hand, indeed. That's
why you are the War Master.
I mean, someone's got to lead us, right?
God's help me.
I'm so fucking sorry.
And if anyone can lead us out of an alcoholic imbibed diatribe, it's you.
So we were talking about his followers, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
We were on the Prodigal Sons, the poor Spire Guard who were just like like trying to be Imperial Army at the time. Oh, actually, so you know how we mentioned earlier that Beastmen are maybe in the lore, not in the lore.
Zangors.
Zangors, baby, blue Beastmen.
Okay, first of all, the model is gorgeous.
I think they're gorgeous for both Age of Sigmar and 40k.
Oh, I don't even bother giving mine the 40k kit. I mean, Jill.
They're pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
But my favorite piece of like snippet of lore is that there was like this demon prince of Tzeentch who literally said, "You know what? I'm the fucking best. So I'm gonna name my horde after myself." The adjutant host of, and I'm gonna fuck this up hard,
Probably. There's a lot of consonants.
Hazariah the Believer.
No, that's disappointing.
Hazria? My Spanish is interfering. Like, I'm reading this in Spanish, and it's like really just
Go
fucking.
Spanish. Yeah, just do this. Do hardcore Spanish for
Hazria.
There we go.
The Believer. He basically just like said, "You horde of blue bastards, you are mine. Let's go fight these Imperial fists." And he actually beat the shit out of Captain Lysander.
Is
Even,
that really something to be proud of, though? Like, really?
I mean, no, you're right, I suppose. I mean, Magnus led a whole war, like a whole force against Fenris.
They have the Fang.
Which by the way, how did that end? I know like the Dark Angels were involved, and they were like being fucked with like the Changeling.
Everything had to be consecrated. Few planets were destroyed, and thanks to.
Okay.
And the planet of sorcerers is in real.
Oh, it got transported to real space finally? I know that was something they talked about in 7th. I feel like 7th is glossed over. Like, you went from 6th, 7th was a placeholder, and then 8th is like the final, like the real edition we talk about.
Well, I think 7th, its biggest failing was it was more just 6.
That makes a lot of sense
It was
because
6th edition with a really shitty magic thing.
which, believe me, I play Eldar, so like whenever I do play, because there's some friends of mine who, for some fucking reason here in the club, they really love 7th edition .jpg, but whenever I just say like, you know what, I'm just gonna skip the psychic phase. I'm not even gonna do it. And
Eldar.
no, and it's literally the thing that we rely on is, prescience and guide and fortitude, etc., etc.
And then we ran into all that fuckery with, everybody can summon now.
Yep.
Which was just... It was a baffling their part, I will say.
Well, I remember in 6th edition where everyone can deny the witch.
That at least makes a little bit of sense,
You just think really hard, and you manage to like dispel a spell.
With Deny the Witch, you have at least a couple of options when it comes to thematically explaining them away. Like when you try to use a psychic power on, say, like the Tau, they're not psychically active enough to necessarily always affect. It's like throwing electricity at a broken light bulb. It'll keep going, but it might not always work.
That makes sense.
And the orc have their gestalt field of, if I think it works hard enough, it'll actually work.
Clap if you believe in fairies.
Exactly.
So that's actually how I got a few of my friends into it. They're all orc players, and I kind of hate myself because I explained to them. He was like, "Hey guys, doesn't this sound pretty cool?" And then I explained to them like, these orcs, they just believe that shit's gonna happen, and it happens. And you're like, you know what? That sounds fucking great. Let's play it. So now I'm the one Eldar player one Space Marine player, and then there's like 4 orc. So I have to wait like 30 minutes for these dudes to set up. And then like their shooting phase gives me cancer.
Get a drink.
I need a drink.
I need a drink. I just crushed
You
it.
need a drink.
This is why you put the bottle next to your desk. See, I'm a fucking genius.
Well, I'm still making this blue horror.
And whose fault is that?
It's actually really fucking good. Oh, by the way, quick shout out to my boy Lucas. I will say this. I bartended for 6 years at various restaurants, and this man makes me feel like a fucking moron.
I call him the booze wizard for a reason.
So when he was giving me the ingredients, he was like, "Yeah, dude, you're gonna use gin, you're gonna use, all this shit." And I was like, "Bro, this sounds so gross." Like, first of all, you said gin. I was about to just back away and just make some kind of like margarita drink or whatever, some kind of frozen, like almost like a hurricane, but with like just blue curacao.
This is this guy rebels at gin, but runs to tequila for his go.
So, like a hurricane, except bad, is what you're saying.
What's wrong with you're not the first person to say that. You're like, so you don't like IPAs, but you drink tequila straight. I'm like, yes, it's so yummy. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
No, what the fuck is wrong with me? They say like, I don't know.
I see all the memes coming from this stream right now. Well, if we turn back.
No, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Let's go back. Milos, if you would like to continue, I apologize to our wonderful viewers.
Well,
go ahead,
you
sir.
don't have-
Get at it.
Well, the next one I would like to talk about is the Magnus the Red, the meme lord of Primarch, and his story is really interesting. Like all the fuckery he got into, and despite his good intentions, the massive fuck up he did on Terra, and then how he prevented his own son from even fighting back the invasion force of Spaceballs, Sisters of Silence, and Custodes. And then he ascended after he was broken by his brother Russ.
By Bane, I mean Russ.
You thought the magic was
Sorry, I lost. And it's interesting, like his whole transformation, and even though he should know better, he's a puppet of Tzeentch, and all the 7th edition, he conjured the planet of sorcerers into Materium and attacked the space.
Which is a hell of
Which-
a clutch to hold, really. You've ascended into being a demon Primarch, and you have access to literally the entire knowledge of almost everything, and you're gonna hold a grudge over a sprained back for 10,000 years?
I appreciate the commitment.
Yes, he moved an entire planet just to hold a grudge about being carried wrong. But
Well, but what I don't get, why he holds grudge against the sons of Russ when he, on a few occasions, said that he knows where the Russ is.
Well,
So-
I'm gonna alienate the remaining 5 because seriously, fuck this. That's why they needed their ego knocked down a couple pegs, and Magnus was the one to do it.
they really did, and points to him again, yeah, for actually sticking those guns on, I guess, on holding a grudge and commitment to it. But fuck the wolves, yes.
I take it personally.
Hashtag I'm back.
Still recovered.
And it's interesting. Uh,
Okay, well let's
how
dial back for a second to basically when we're talking about Magnus. Let's talk about his his first fuck up when he was found and what his legion was like when he fucking got to it.
And
the
I
flash.
feel bad for him in the sense that he was just given, because it feels like the emperor just said, "Hey, here's your children, do your thing," and then he just left.
Here's what's left of your toys.
You know, because it was like what, less than 1,000. That's what they're called, the Thousand Sons.
Yeah.
Like that's the quote unquote joke.
Yeah.
Is that the emperor showed up with a bunch of semi-mutated, kind of crazy sorcerers, and he was like, "Hey, I love you. You're great. You've done a lot of good Primarch level shit. Here's your sons." You know,
Here are
which
your toy
I know
soldiers.
will disagree in like the broad scheme of things what Magnus's role would have been. But that
Battery with
was
the golden throne.
that was the emperor's fuck up, is that he didn't say he should have at least said hey, your Thousand Sons are genetically not bueno.
Well, I
But
think
he,
that's
Well, I,
the
Well,
guy
yeah, but we
went
could
hug
do
him
an
on the leg by
entire
tentacle.
podcast on how badly the Emperor fucked up.
no, of course, and then perhaps sometime down the line we will talk about Golden Man.
Because I mean, if E-Money had given Kurz a bit more, if he'd have just given the fucker a hug, he wouldn't have gone all Vlad the Impaler in space on him.
But I think the Emperor liked the fact that he went Vlad the Impaler. It was effective. It was quick. It got the job done.
And really, at the end of it, it cleaned up its own mess.
Yeah, because in comparison, that's what legitimately pissed off the Emperor with Logar. Is dude, you're taking forever. What the fuck? Conquer this shit. Get done with it. It wasn't what he was doing. It's just that it took forever. In
and
comparison,
also building the church of Empire.
I don't actually think the Emperor cared that they were worshiping him. I think he cared that the progress was slow.
No, he cared by propaganda. He built himself up to abolish all the religions to try and knock out chaos in any kind of form, and thereby knowing that if you knock all the competition out, there can be only one winner, aka you. So basically, he was trying to keep his propaganda machine going and speed up the crusade. Basically, Lorgar was dragging his feet on both sections, both secularism and getting the fucking job done.
Which
the
makes
problem
sense.
with that, the innate flaw with that brilliant plan is if you're going to wipe out all the other competition and then turn around and say, but don't worship me either, I'm not God, humans are going to look for something. So when some asshole like Erebus shows up and is like, hey, I've got 4 cosmic fucking eldritch abominations you can worship, but at least they're real gods, what are you going to do? Lorgar's like, sign me the fuck up.
And it goes. I think it goes back to that. I think it goes back to that quote. I kind of forget what book it was. It's towards the later ones, where Malgador was like, maybe we should have handled Logar differently. Maybe he was a little bit more sensitive because of his upbringing to this sort of shit.
Well,
Took a goddamn
maybe maybe he meant assassins rather than
I think the Emperor would have
belittling.
been very successful if he would have gone all full in to yes, I am God. Yes, worship me.
probably. I mean, look,
Probably.
it happened anyway.
What about Leonard?
Logar
Crusades where
succeeded. The Emperor is God.
Lorgar succeeded. The Emperor is worshipped as a god. Chaplains are rife throughout other chapters now, which was originally his plan in the beginning, which was originally his inception, much like the librarians were for Magnus.
Yeah.
And everything that basically he was scolded for doing or propagating through all of his crusade is now rife and mandatory on pain of flogging and likely death, and then wars beyond throughout the entire Imperium. If I was
Lorgar won.
I would look out the door of wherever I've been praying for the last 10,000 years. cock punch Erebus 50 times and then laugh at what the Imperium is.
Honestly, I'm sure that's all he's doing in there. He stopped praying after like got a bit sore. He just turned on, Imperial cable. He's been laughing his balls off 1,000 years.
We should cover that when Dark Apostle has time.
No, we'll definitely expand upon the topic at some point, for sure. I've actually really enjoyed this whole drunken, fucked up scenario. You know what? Let's do the thing. Let's round back on Magnus. Someone was talking about how he fucked up. Go.
Which section?
Oh, like the followers, I believe.
His first fuck up, his prime fuck up, where he cut a deal with an unknown eldritch entity saying, "Hey, guess what, fucker? I can fix all your people." Really? Can you? Yes, for no price at all. Really? No, I'm just fucking with you. You're mine forever.
Tomb King Daddy? Is that you?
Apparently, Sansa is.
I mean, let's be honest. He is Tomb King Daddy.
Welcome to my life 24/7.
I am jealous.
You moved countries for that show. So
because my woman is only Anne of Green Gables.
That's just depressing.
It's okay. She's a redhead. I'm fine. I'm winning, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
shit.
the worst is self-muting for the jokes that you will not be saying on internet.
You can say whatever you want.
Not these jokes.
As an aside, you need to tell me these jokes are
So Magnus basically said, like, all right, you'll fix my kids. They'll stop turning into gelatin monsters. That was his first fuck up. AKA.
The first fuck up was looking for it. The second one was listening. If you see an ice cream truck painted matte black driving down a dark street with only an orange sodium lamp above it at 11 o'clock at night, do not go buying an ice cream cone, motherfucker.
Dude, that's where you get the best ice cream.
That's how you get that big loud, my guy.
No, that's when you know what is in that truck. Yes, then you go for the ice cream that's got the extra little stamps on it. That's when you get that ice cream. But when you go, hey, ice cream, that's a cool thing. Yeah, no, you don't go to that truck.
South by Southwest.
Listening to the unknown entity that says, "I have the power to fix all your sons," is the equivalent of stepping into the windowless white van that says the side.
But maybe we should give him the like the devil's advocate here, like he saw his children, they were suffering, they were turning into like these giant, maybe not giant, but they were turning into these like abominations basically.
He just met these motherfuckers. He's been on Prospero for a couple 100 years. These guys are brand new to him. He has no attachment.
You don't think there's no like shit, perhaps I am responsible. They have my gene seed. I have to do something.
So what? You're gonna believe a chick when she walks up and says, "This kid's your father"?
No, I mean you're right. You got him.
It's your father.
Got him.
This guy showed up on a golden spaceship out of fucking nowhere. Says, "Hey, by the way."
Hey, we call that a pimp.
Okay, cool. Oh, and by the way, this runt of like deformed, like drooling things. These are your kids.
They're too ugly to me, man.
Doing that. I think I saw that Jeremy Kyle episode.
They're too ugly to be mine. Go away.
One-eyed red giant.
Well,
the Cyclops is not a looker. Okay.
Well, next fuck up is, in my opinion, that he lied this experience to the Emperor.
Oh, when he said like when he basically went to tattle on Abaddon was the.
I think Horus is.
Sorry, my bad, Horus. Jesus Christ, am I that drunk? Give me a second. Let me look at my shit.
Red Legion, more rank.
He's like Abaddon,
well,
with better hair.
So Abaddon is like the handsome version of Horus.
With a handy handlebar. He's got like a twist off cap on him.
It's great. You pull his hair.
I can't take seriously anybody who I could easily just call Zeke.
Wow. You called him Zeke.
Well, yeah.
No, he always calls him that. It's just delightful.
Rest in peace, Abaddon. You are truly harmless.
Okay, so vote right now. Is it Abaddon or Abaddon?
Abaddon.
Look, Arch Warhammer, stop.
Hey, that cheap shot.
Now, he did not deserve that.
Come on.
I apologize halfway. I actually I've actually never listened to his videos, and everyone like just makes memes about it. And last night, like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down. I'll watch like a Tzeentch video of him, just to kind of get in the mood.
You did?
So you're still drunk from fighting off last night, is what I'm hearing.
I was like, no, like, bro, like, Jesus Christ, this guy is the dude. Like, he has, you know how people have a punchable face? He has a punchable voice.
I want to punch you in your larynx just for speaking.
Now, for all of those Rabid Arch fans out there, I just want to point out these are the opinions. Send your hate mail.
No, we are 100% right, War Master. We are not on the wrong. Our opinions are not actually opinions; they are facts.
No, you see, I agree wholeheartedly. I just didn't want the fucking hate mail.
I don't give shit.
Laugh at what you get sent.
I have a spam filter for a reason. God damn it.
No, Magnus's first fuck up, of course, with his kids, and then not reading the fine print and believing the white paneled van that is covered in feathers and says no problems here.
Well, when Ahriman was like, "Yo, like, dude, maybe we shouldn't be trying to contact the Emperor."
Jamaica now? What, Egypt?
Yeah, like he was like, was it? Didn't he? It's been a while since I've read it. Fall of Prospero. But
Definitely not Jamaican.
didn't he tell? He was like, he had some reservations about like the whole ritual that Magnus was doing.
Yeah,
I just want to point out that when fucking Ahriman says, I feel this decision could be cataclysmically fucking stupid, your life has taken some twists and turns to get to that point. You have made some bad decisions when Ahriman. Rubric sounds like a good fucking idea, Ahriman. Maybe we shouldn't fucking do this.
Yo, boss man, maybe this might be a bad idea. Shut the fuck up!
Shut up, send me more space so I can launch my partner at my dad's door.
Shut up and oil me. I don't think this one.
Grease me up, son.
Lube me up, my son, so I may enter easily.
Coat me in the glistening pool of psychic sacrifice.
I reread that last night, and I was like, wait, this guy sounds like the red dude from Street Fighter 4, the Turkish wrestler.
Zangief?
Bro, look, give me a second.
Oh, the Tsar.
Yeah, he was like bright red monster.
Yeah, hold on a second, I got a book on that right here. Because of course I do. I'm just horrible with useless knowledge.
So obviously, next one is
His name is Hakan, and he does the Turkish oil wrestling.
Yes, Hakan, the invincible Tsar.
So I read that piece last night, and he's like, okay, oil me up. I am an Egyptian god. And Ahriman is like, hey, this might not be a good idea, bro. Silence, fool.
I really thought this through, Dad. I mean, like, you're still not my son, now do it. Like...
This is not incest.
I need to be oiled up and through that eternity gate.
I just zoned out and came back to incest. What?
Let me enter your eternity gate.
Well,
And yet he still somehow managed to push dry through the webway.
He really did. It took some effort, but
He
you know.
tore that shit right open.
Oh, ow.
And then basically he's like, the Emperor saw me, and then I left. Like bro, like you already fucked up. You might as well tell him, you know.
If you already pushed that far deep in and your parent walks through the door, just make eye contact and finish. Like,
We call that a Primarch.
All right, let's go back. So we did Magnus, and he fucked up quite a bit, like a lot. And but by a lot, I mean he was probably. So it was funny because Horus was like, look, the only people that can stop me are like Magnus and these other fuckers. And it seems
yeah,
like
he got rid of Magnus by contorting the message to Russ to basically say, rather than just when Emperor said, "Bring Magnus to my door," I've got a belt for him to flatten Magnus's door and go break his back.
to Russ's
Defense.
like defense, I suppose, is like he was still trying to contact Magnus, like, hey dude, like Dad wants to see
Through
you.
the hauser.
Stop.
Yeah, he tried to
Also,
contact him as
Stop.
soon as he dropped at orbit. Like he didn't wait till the edge of the system. He dropped out of orbit in orbit.
And he was like, look, dude, I gotta take you back. Stop doing what you're doing. And Magnus was like,
He really didn't do that. He showed up right away and just started bombing shit. And because Magnus is a depressed jerk and
oh
idiot,
no, you know what?
God,
You know what? You're right. And he gave Magnus props. So like, this dude's taking his licks. I'm gonna
yeah,
just
he took the licks, even though basically he's confining his own sons to death by basically like, no, don't defend things. Don't worry about it. Let them punch you. And you're telling me
but literally
son-
literally his sons were like, listen, dude, fuck you. We're
yeah,
fighting
because
back.
they were getting punched and they were asking him for help. When he learned that Russ was on the way, he actively sent his defense force, his own navy, away to the edge of the system, out of the way. He actively disabled his own shields above his cities to let all this damage happen. And when they landed and started blowing everything up and everything and everyone, they weren't choosing civilian like seat-bearing civilians. They were just gunning them all down. And when the Thousand Sons went to Magnus to be like, your brother's here. He seems kind of mad. Why? Magnus didn't answer. He kept himself locked away in his tower and didn't even answer his sons. He basically just sent out a memo. He's taped a memo to the door saying, "No one's allowed in. Leave me alone. By the way, don't fight back."
That sounds like the Navy.
And he told near immortal, bioengineered living weapons with mind bullets to not fight back against feral Viking idiots when they come to go burn your house down.
So here's my question to you guys. And I know it's been semi-answered by the Dawn of War games. But
As much as I answer things.
but when
Yeah, the Blood Ravens are totally.
is that your guys' opinion? Like the Blood Ravens are like 100% unequivocally Thousand
Abomination.
Sun, Thousand.
So fucking lootly.
So they were like the lesser, or not like the lesser psychically empowered, but they were empowered enough that the rubric didn't affect them.
I'm willing to, if we're going down this vein, and I will say that they were done during like we'll say like the Cursed Founding, where they were used by Traitor Legion gene seeds from Terra, so they had a more stable like base stock of human.
But so that the only reason I asked that is because you guys remembered when and I'm not going to remember precisely the name of them because I'm getting shit faced here. The folks. I mean, I'm shit faced. It's not getting more. But when those Thousand Sons were fighting in the maze, the moment they stepped out, they were afflicted by the rubric. So they were out of space, and then they went into space.
I will counter this with a bit of narrative fuckery, if you'll permit.
No, please go ahead. Please educate me.
We don't. I'm not. This is an opinion, not an education. Basically, we're gonna circle back to the Ahriman trilogy, which again, spoilers, which you haven't figured out at this point. Guess what? At the end of it, Ahriman does a second rubric incantation on the planet of the sorcerers,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what basically permits him to do half and gets the like monosyllabic conversation of one marine. But how about this? Basically, that second rubric more or less put a stop on the rampant rubric wave going through the Imperium or like the material plane, and then basically the Blood Ravens are created out of the cursed founding, because we don't really have a date and time as to when the second rubric happens. Obviously, it's on the planet of the sorcerer, things have happened, but we really don't have a timeline beyond that.
No, of course,
So
and a lot of the timing is a little muddled.
yes, much to Rabute's dismay. Anyway, so basically the second rubric stops the wave. Then we have the Blood Ravens created out of cursed founding Thousand Suns material.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we still have them, but we don't have the rampant mutation, and we have a librarian chapter master dumb enough to dedicate themselves to Khorne.
Okay, so that part, ew. Okay, like the fact that he became a champion of Khorne just pisses me off, because I played Dawn of War 3 and Dawn of War 2.
You never played one?
I've literally played all of them. So
Okay, good.
the fact that he went from potential Tzeentch cultist to Khorne moron threw me off.
Flip like a skull with skull throne. You're a goddamn librarian.
You are a wizard, but now you are a blood man.
Apparently, he read the wrong book.
What do you think, War Master? Like, what do you think about that? Like that random switch up?
Well, I mean, bear in mind that he was using the demon dictum. That demon was a cornate demon. You eat a cornate demon, you become a cornate demon. Work with what you got, man.
I suppose that makes sense. You know, like when it comes to demonhood, is you just kind of accept whatever you're given.
Well, it's not really a complaint department.
You know, like just because you're a psyker. So, like for example, like Typhus. Typhus was like he wanted to be a psyker, but Nurgle is obviously like very opposed to Tzeentchian shenanigans.
No,
He's got his own magic.
Yeah,
Nurgle's not opposed to magic at all. He
Nurgle's
likes
got
it.
oodles of magic. Nasty.
he does. Oh, okay.
The person that Typhus, when he was basically psychically active, when Mortarion came, because Typhus is actually, well, Typhon, Callus Typhon, is from Terra. He's not actually from Barbarous. I don't think. I could be wrong. I might be wrong on that one. Anyway.
I think you're wrong on that one, my friend.
Okay, well,
He should have been partly of the race of tyrants on the
either
what's
way,
the
basically,
name?
his lineage is neither here nor there, and I accept defeat if I got that wrong. But anyway, basically, Mortarion doesn't like psychics. He doesn't like magic, even though he has a buttload of lore on it and can just be like backhand bind a demon. Thank you, Demonology Source Story.
No, yeah,
So,
yeah.
basically, Typhus or Typhon at the time basically suppressed and supplanted and mentally didn't use his own psychic potential for the longest times till basically conversion and grab hold, where basically he was given Terminus Est and was given the Destroyer Hive. Then it basically ramped up, and he's like, okay, well, fine, since we're okay with this now, I'm also a psyker.
Which, by the way, and I know we spoke, Arcady, was literally the only reason I wanted to build a zombie horde.
Makes sense now. But yeah, I mean, Typhon suppressed it for the longest time, and the moment he realized that now he was allowed to say, abracadabra aid, He just went for it.
And that makes actually a lot of sense now that you guys put it in those words.
Clot is brought on venereal disease.
Ooh, the only kind of disease you get in the Philippines.
Oh no, it's not the only one. It's just all of them are classified as venereal.
Oh, jeez. The things you would have seen in the Philippines when I was there.
Pass.
By the way, I know like you guys are like very big pirate fans. I've been to Nassau, and the pirates would be sad at what it is now.
I
But
don't doubt it.
So,
yeah,
let's
it's
get
a
back to it.
it's a giant like tourist trap. But let's get back to it. So Magnus, he did all these fuck ups. They did the he trusted something he shouldn't have, basically a child. But who I would call the biggest champion of Tzeentch isn't actually Magnus. I know people will probably yell at me or whatever. They'll be like, Magnus is literally like the super like magic god.
No, he's the chosen of Tzeentch.
He's the chosen as Tzeentch. You're correct. He's the chosen of Tzeentch.
Angron wants nothing to do with Karn, whereas Karn absolutely loves the bastard.
Yeah, but the biggest champion and biggest representative of Tzeentch is actually Kairos Fate Weaver. And I know we spoke of him earlier, how he was like thrown in the well. So this was like semi-old lore, where he was like basically chucked into the Well of Eternity. Came out as like this like fucking wrinkly
Time
bastard.
down.
Yeah, wrinkly bastard.
I think his new one is that in one head only sees the past and the other one only sees the future. That's why he's kind of like limited.
Yeah, that and he's only sent onto battlefields when it's like extremely necessary, because sometimes the guy will just like sit there and start like ranting, and that's why Tzeentch himself has selected 81 Lords of Change to like constantly write, kind of like Nurgle's Tallyman, constantly write what this like
Crazy bastard said.
yeah, because like, hey, maybe in some of his insanity there might be some truth, which is pretty
I don't
cool.
know
Similar
about the
Dark
fact that
Angels with Luther.
Yeah, because so this is some not out of context, but like out of lore information. Kairos means a moment in time, whilst Chronos means a sequential, like it means time sequentially, like forward or backwards. So Kairos Fate Weaver will give you information about any point in time, but that doesn't mean it'll be like relevant right now. You have to make of it what you will.
I just love the fact that Kairos is essentially a bastardization of Imperial Aquila.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
that too, because you know how the Imperial Aquila, one of them looks to the past and it is blind to the past, and it has the eye looking forward.
Wrong.
Am I wrong?
Those reversed. It's the head looking back is the one with the eye. The one looking forward is
Oh
the
yes,
eye.
blind to the past and looking to the future.
Blind to the future, looking to the past.
Jesus Christ.
Lucas, you make a really good cocktail, apparently.
I simultaneously praise and damn you, Lucas.
Everyone in the San Francisco area, hit this man up. He will get you drunk.
Shameless plug to his bar, the Perch and Plow. Go.
So BT Dubs, me and my girlfriend are actually going next weekend, so we hope to see him.
You lucky prick.
My girlfriend actually wants to go to Canada. I know you guys live in Toronto, correct?
Yes, indeedy.
That's where my girlfriend. That's where my girl wants to go.
Well, shit, let me know.
Cause you run a bar as well, right, Warmaster?
That's what they tell me.
That's where the money comes from. thing goes.
You look at the check and it says manager. But please proceed.
Across the border, let us know.
It's actually pretty easy to get to Canada as an American.
We are just up of you.
Immigrants.
Well, I'm not opening a particular can of fucking worms, so Tzeentch.
So
So we
chaos.
discussed the most major followers.
Yeah. Please proceed. I'm gonna go make more drink.
That's a great plan.
You wonderful people, keep doing what you're doing.
And we skipped the three houses of Kanai, Arcanus, Chromatic, and Manticus. And there is only few information about them. Like during the 13th Black Crusade, they have successfully invaded the Stygus sector.
This is how you make the booze.
Ha!
I hate to say this, but I guess my internet connection's being bad because I caught like a tenth of that.
All right, my head
Pouring
made.
another drink.
What's that?
I'm just pouring another drink.
And we can talk about lesser demons of Tzeentch, like pink horrors, flamers of Tzeentch.
Can we just talk about how absolutely fucking bananas the design for a flamer is? Like,
What,
let's
goo with
take a
mouths?
fucking mushroom, stick it upside down, stick a fucking bird on the top, and give it napalm arm.
Didn't they turn it into just like a pile of goo with mouth hands?
Yeah, it's more gooey now, unfortunately.
Oh, good. When I type in the word flamers, and the first thing that shows up is Tzeentch. Thank fuck.
Progress.
So because I have safe search turned off.
Progress.
Yeah, they're definitely like mouth goo. Flamey mouth goo. Which I'm paraphrasing as goo because some people should not like.
It looks like what?
Taco Friday.
The results of Taco Friday.
Yeah, more or less.
I will say this as actually those broad flamers, the blue horrors and the pink horrors, in book Farsight, Crisis of Faith, which, alright, fine, everyone calm down, I know, Tau. Don't hit those download buttons just yet. Basically, it goes into their first interaction, the Tau Empire's first encounter with demons.
Oh.
Where Farsight actually gets the sword.
I like.
That wonderful, wonderful sword. And
The demon sword that we're not calling a demon.
actually, the popular vote is it's the last crone sword that what's her name from the Eldars.
Oh Jesus, yeah, that whole.
Yeah, another type for that one. But anyway, basically, when they first encounter them, they basically think they have no idea what's going on because they don't know what's going on. So basically, they think that blue horrors and that kind of thing, or pink horrors, because they're the bigger ones. Pink horrors turn into blue horrors, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Pink horrors are the natural denizens of Molech. That's what they think. And
Sure, we'll go with that.
This is legit what they think.
Rar.
And when they're fighting them, they see that there's all these jewels and bangles off of them, and basically they try and use a universal translator, and say like, look, if it's material wealth we've got plenty, and they proceed to still get their stuff melted, and they think, and this is the adorable part, and this is the wonderful part about ignorance that I'm getting to, is when they kill one of the pink horrors and it splits into the two blue horrors.
Ooh, we're talking about demons, yay.
they equate it to basically like either like a parasitic or symbiotic relationship. And the best part is when they actually finally kill one of them, or one of the bigger demons, and when they just disappear or discorporate back into warp as they do, they actually think that each and every demon or citizen of Molech at this point, as they think, has a built-in teleportation recall. So they're not dying and discorporating; they're being recalled to like a medical facility, that kind of thing.
So when demons die, they're not actually dying.jpg. They're just being teleported back to the Pokemon Center.
That's what the Tau thought.
Oh.
Well, I mean,
well, the
they
Tau
basically-
are extra stupid. Like, I love their tech, but they're just dumb as fuck.
I
I
appreciated the way the
personally
author wrote it
love their first encounter with the Dark Eldar.
with Phil Kelly
Oh,
because
When the Eldar when the Tau were like, listen,
Cultural exchange.
and they're like, yeah, we're gonna culture exchange up your ass, bro.
but he wrote the interaction with the demons as a wonderful sign of ignorance, and basically it all worked up until a point in their brains until one of the guys in a crisis looked down in his camera and saw the flame like leering at his camera and actually crawling up the leg of his neck trying to get to him. Then he's kind of like, this doesn't really work. What? And then proceeded to die and basically get melted or turn into like shrubbery or something, which they still reasoned away in their Star Trek brain.
Now we want another shrubbery. Ta-da!
Turbo shrubbery.
The demons of Ni, they reasoned it away as basically their fire. They have melta weapons, and is what they first thought. No, they actually accounted for the fire to their hands as digi weapon. The wonderful.
I think the Tau's biggest flaw when it comes to encountering demonic nonsense is that,
being fuck-shatteringly stupid.
well, aside from that, it's just they're trying to be too logical.
And to that, and in that same book, Farsight learns what a hexagrammic ward is.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he kills a demon host with it.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
So Farsight has working, or at least beginner knowledge of what a hexagrammic ward is.
That makes a lot of sense, considering, I mean, his sword is demonic, kind of like Crow's is, right? Or am I like simplifying that too
They
much?
don't really go into detail on what his sword is physically, aside from basically it takes whatever time a person had when he
Yeah.
kills them and adds it onto his time.
Which is why he's lived past, what, like 40?
Which is a huge joke, because like, how old are you? I am 40. Oh, you are a child.
All right, so back on track because we're delving into Tau right now. So
No, of course. Let's go back to Tzeentch. The
The
glory
most
flew
important-
blue bastard.
The most interesting, in my opinion, are the blue scribe.
Oh, the guy that writes and the guy that reads.
Yes, those who gather the spells scattered throughout the Materium and Immaterium alike.
I just love how gleefully malicious they are. I mean, it's like somebody gave a pair of gremlins the fucking Necronomicon.
And they're just jumping up and down like, yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, read this one. Read this one. I bet it'll be awesome.
Well,
But
if
it
you
says
watch-
right here it'll blow us up. Fuck it.
Smithlbar, that's a recipe for tapioca pudding. I don't care. Read it anyway.
But like, if you look at their model, like the dude is just like writing shit down, looks so mad, and the guy is like, "Fuck yeah, dude."
No, that is a fantastic one.
He's got a
Honestly,
hand
the
with
whole-
screaming. He's got a hand with devil horns. Like that guy is having a riot.
Oh,
He,
exactly.
he's listening. He's listening to the old transmissions of a Black Sabbath.
He took the word Black Sabbath and he thinks it's actually a spell. He thinks Crazy Train is a spell.
Are you saying it's not?
No,
It is.
And Tzeentch it is now.
I don't know. Like, Tzeentch always struck me as more of a Floyd fan, personally.
Well, there are some Black Sabbath like songs that are like, all right, this is some like magic metal wizard shit that you'd see on like a van, but like
Man on the Silver Mountain by Rainbow. That's some Tzeentch shit.
I think just 80s music metal was just ahead of its
Are we
time.
not
The
even
acid
going
and
to touch
LSD.
on King Crimson here?
Yes.
Come on.
Killing yourself to live.
If it works.
I will break you.
Okay, I will counter this. I will counter this. In the model for the Blue Scribes, the speaker is having an absolute riot, and obviously has a stereo somewhere in the book pile. The writer, the scribe who writes, is absolutely hating his job.
So the poor administratum fuck, we're back to this guy. That's where he ended up.
Hey, we found him. Can we
So-
also comment on how happy the lamprey taxi carpet looks? Like it is actually enjoying its job.
I mean, it's so when you accept your life, and you accept everything that comes with it, you know, like it's good and it's bad. You just accept your place in the universe, and he just looks content, honestly.
That is a happy carpet thing.
To be honest, I've always loved the manta rays that Games Workshop has given us for the mounts of Tzeentch.
The discs and the screamers.
Oh, they're fucking hilarious. Like, they're just like, you know what? I'm here, I'm now. I spit fire.
Well, I mean, first of all, nobody is having as much fun as we got to say that right now.
It was having much fun as who?
As Nurglings. Nurglings are having all the goddamn fun.
Oh,
They're having the fun as much as like if you accept you're never gonna feel pain, then yeah, you're gonna have fun. But like these manta rays, are like, you know what? I'm flat. I'm a C flap, but I fly through the air.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, once you get past the knowledge that you look like a stingray fucked a Cuisinart, you're just ready to roll.
But you know what? You defeated your greatest enemy. You defeated the Australian that wouldn't leave you alone.
Well, to be honest, isn't acceptance a part of Nergo's portfolio?
Isn't accepted as part of everyone's portfolio.
I was about to make a joke about Steve Irwin, but then I stopped myself.
No, you didn't. Say his name, and now you did. Why?
You made the joke, and now you just brought more fucking attention to it, you heartless bastard.
Oh, that Australian that you finally got your enemy. Oh, I was gonna make a Steve Irwin joke, but then I didn't. You just made two.
I've been terrible. Oh god, dogs, calm down. My dogs are going bananas. Chill. Come here.
We're Steve Irwin fans. Do some
Fuck you for doing this to us, Lucas.
Rawr. Oh wait, so I accidentally put some gin in their bowl.
I thought gin was
Yes.
part of the recipe.
Accidentally.
You guys like your booze?
Or do
And
you accidentally put gin in their water?
No, just straight gin in
You
their bowl.
feed gin to your water to your dogs.
No, just in their bowl.
That's feeding them gin, you idiot.
Well, my husky, so my German Shepherd walked up to it, sniffed it, cried, ran away. My husky ran up to it, sniffed it, started barking, and then just drank it all. You're a fucking alcoholic, you know that? I love it.
No wonder you've got an axe to grind against Steve Irwin. What the fuck are you doing to your animal?
And apparently he found the last Fenrisian. He's husky.
She does love the booze.
Please, let's not be so hurtful. He's not husky, he's just big bone.
All right, so can we get back on track?
Yes, Milos, thank you for reminding us. All right, so we were talking about.
We promise nothing.
You know what, Milos, you lead the way. You have the con. Do the thing.
Well,
AKA you're the host.
so we covered most of the followers, Tzeentch, and we can move on the Tzeentch rival, the Nurgle.
Oh shit! You know what? I'll take this on.
This should be good.
All right, so Nurgle. I'm actually a big Nurgle fan because of how.
On an empty stomach and now you can go Nurgle yourself.
Oh God. Why would you expose me like that? But you know what? You're right. So
Well, you play.
I play Dark Angels and Eldar, but secretly I just want to play Nurgle zombies.
Well, Nurgle has Isha, so the link between Elder and Nurgle.
So I actually don't know how for sure do we know he has Isha? Because I know it sounds like a.
It's pretty fucking.
It's pretty fucking sure. All right, lit. All right, so Nurgle is literally the opposite of Tzeentch. He's stagnation. He's, he doesn't want to die because like his followers are kind of like unwitting followers. You'll have a warrior who had lived like thousands of years or like whatever, and like he finally is about to die, and he's like, "Fuck, I don't want to die," and he, perhaps is afraid or whatever. And Nurgle is like, "Hey, bro," he just comes out of nowhere. He's like, "I can save you," and he's all about like stagnation. And there are some times, for example, like when the Death Guard, where you had
It's that same stubborn refusal to fucking lay down and die.
Yeah, like the Death. Yeah, the Death Guard were already like these like super stubborn, like they just like would not fucking die dudes. And even if you have like, for example, like what is it, Garrow? Even when he's fighting people that are substantially stronger than him, he will not fucking die. So that's part of the whole Nurgle appeal. And Tzeentch is like, death is just like another form of change. So that's where you have a lot of like, I even want to like say it's more than a rivalry. They actually hate each other. Because while Khorne is like, nah, dude, fuck magic. Nurgle's like, fuck you, fuck change. Like fuck the whole we want to live forever, etc., etc.
I don't think it's really a Nurgle to hate anyone. He's just too fucking jolly. I mean,
you think so?
Like John Goodman is a chaos god.
Yeah.
It's like hating that person. It's like hating that person who's always like overly happy at work. That person who comes into work happy in the morning. The person who works happy, and that person who leaves work happy. No matter what has happened, no matter who has come in and done what to them, they always have that insufferably bubbly, happy attitude.
Okay, so that was me. That was me a year, like 2 years ago in the Navy. Don't worry, you do have the ability to kill that.
That's basically how I see the relationship between Tzeentch and Nurgle. Nurgle's just happy to do his thing most of the time, and Tzeentch is like, no, like I need change. And this guy's in here just like walking around in the back of the warehouse of the wharf, just be like, stagnation. Everything stays as it is. Everything breaks down and decays. Meanwhile, Tzeentch is running around the warehouse trying to get all these orders together, getting them delivered and sent out, and wrong orders, right orders, and this orders. Here's this other schmuck just walking around with a coffee.
So what do you guys think about their dynamic? Like when it comes to
I think
it's trucker speed versus Adderall.
Okay. That makes sense. And then like in terms of the miniatures, it honestly seems like Games Workshop has like a big, I don't want to say hard on, but they really do enjoy modeling the Nurgle. What is it, Nurgleth?
Because you can have so much fun with Nurgle, because in the entire vein of both ALS and 40k, that is just like grim, dark, misery, awful. Everything of Nurgles is smiling. Everything that involves Nurgle is happy. It's almost comical, damn near cartoony. Like it just is. Like I mean, look, prime example, best example, if you guys want to have it, is look at the Archaon model.
Yeah.
Archaon's newest model, the giant, where Durgar is this giant three-headed monstrosity.
I'll look it up real fast.
Look
King
at-
Ghidorah on steroids.
right?
What'd you call it?
That,
King Ghidorah on steroids.
and less chirping.
You know what? We know what my favorite like Nurgle model is. The Sloppity Bile Piper.
Sloppity Bile
fantastic.
Piper.
But if you look at the head of the Archaon one, like look at the Tzeentch head, it is just pissed all the time. It is rampant. It embodies the entire body of Durgar, just change and everything. And then you look over at the actual like Saturday morning cartoon grin on the Nurgle head.
They're all so happy.
Exactly. And
Hey,
that's
that
why
my time of his fucking life.
exactly, and that's why GW has so much fun, or looks like they have so much fun designing the Nurgle stuff, because they can get the happy, fun, ridiculous, and gross with it all at the same time. Korn needs to be militaristic, primal, animalistic, and obviously bloody, and usually have a lot of bone and skulls around.
Yeah.
Tzeentch needs feathers and like fire, robes and books and like just like tentacles and everything. Slash needs a waver and.
Well, I think that Slaanesh is actually probably their hardest to model, because they need to strike that middle ground of like sexual and like perfection, kind of like Sigvald, kind of beauty, because like
lurid.
I think that a lot of people like that go to Slaanesh, at least like I don't want to say like ignorant, but like a lot of the people that go to Slaanesh, they go to for like that like fap hammer, like they just like they want the porn, they go for like the basic shit.
I think I can handle this one, folks.
Please go ahead,
Arcady,
War Master.
So let's do this as the next one, because that's gonna be a diatribe and a half.
Oh, that is gonna be that is gonna be 10 unfiltered minutes of me just hating everything and everyone.
So let's
And we will have that.
Is the goddess of subject.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Hey, anger ratings.
put the weapon back in the box for the next enemy.
We will
Oh,
have that.
they're in the box.
You know what, guys? We have our next topic, Slaanesh.
I thought we'd save it till the end just to piss Arcady off. Like we do Nurgle.
we do Tzeentch, we do Korn, we do Nurgle, we do Grey Knights, we do Black Dragons. We do everyone, and then we just see him like, I hate you all.
Motherfuckers, I don't need to take this shit.
Yes, you do. That's why you're a Slaaneshi.
You'll take it and you'll like it and you know it.
Well, when you say it like that.
Right?
Yes. No, I that actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, when you guys like put it, it's been difficult, because obviously like when I started the hobby, if you will, it started off with Dawn of War, and then the first novel I read was Dawn of War Omnibus, and I was like, this is the best shit ever. It's so good.
Jesus.
I literally thought it was the best shit on the planet.
Good God. No
I was
wonder
like-
Tequila.
CS Gato can do no wrong. Terminator backflips. Yes.
Jesus, no wonder you're a fucking Dark Angel player.
But then one of my friends was like, hey bro, you like the Dark Angels, right? You like their monastic shenanigans? Read these books. And then I read like the Dark Angel novels, and I finally got into like the Horse Heresy. And I'll go back and I'll try to reread the Blood Ravens Dawn of War books. I just can't. I just can't.
Not many sane people can. I mean, it's just atrocious.
But it makes me sad because like that's what got me into it, and looking back, it's just like it's not even cheesy, like third edition codices shenanigans. It's just bad.
Okay.
And Lars Hendrix's Lars from Metallica's drums got me into metal, and then I found good drummers.
Wow, you went
It's the
there.
progress.
You went there.
Fucking right, I went there.
All right. You know what? With that little segue, because we were supposed to talk about Nurgle, who's the fucking like static monster that he is. We're just gonna go to the realm of Tzeentch. I'll talk about the realm of Tzeentch. I'll talk about his like crazy ass castle of nonsense.
And how many people have to clean up the feathers?
You know what? When it's the realm of chaos, just like my dogs, the feathers are welcome.
Roomba Demon Engine. That's all.
DJ Roomba Demon Engine. Look, the realm of Tzeentch is called like the Crystal Labyrinth, because they knew that people were gonna make that connection to like the Dark Crystal. Oh, look, a big chicken bastard with like the chin. He looks like that shit I saw when I was high on acid watching the Crystal Labyrinth.
They're called Skeksis.
Oh yeah. Very
I don't know.
sexy.
I kind of prefer Chicken Bastard.
I do too.
So put yourself in this person. You are a human being, presumably, and you suddenly appear and you manage to summon yourself into the realm of Tzeentch, right? Because every like place looks like England, and it's like some kind of fucked up area. I'll say Tzeentch is like Wales. Sorry, Tom. It's this giant fucked up crystal labyrinth, right? Where you're forced to look at it.
Never taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
Bruh. You should have taken that turn. But you're forced to look at it in 9 dimensions. To be honest, an ignorant fuck like me, I thought there were only 4 dimensions. But if you're intelligent enough, you won't go crazy. More than likely you will, right? And it's basically a giant maze. Kind of like, fuck, what's that bitch's name?
I gotta ask, since I can't see it, how many times has your slide changed by this point?
A lot. I was gonna say Alice in Wonderland, like like that little like the maze she goes through to get to like the castle.
The hedge maze?
Yes. So there's this giant maze, and he's like, you know what? People are too stupid to like go through this maze, and that especially if it's in 9 dimensions. But at the center of this maze is called the Impossible Castle, or the Impossible Fortress. Where like these giant like mouths like fucking open up and shit. And they're like,
given that it fucking exists, I would say it's probably more of an improbable castle.
Improbable fortress? Impossible fortress? Mythbusters. Confirmed. Tzeentch busted? God damn.
It's all about that Waller's mustache. That's all.
I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you goddamn kids.
And their Adderall.
Which brings us to this, like, yo, what happened to those kids' version of the books?
Oh, Jesus.
I haven't read those, and I don't plan to.
I have them, and I haven't read them.
I kind of want to buy them and do dramatic reading of.
You want to do like a Jabberwocky reading of the children's books?
I do.
No, I demand a reading Rainbow by Cedra.
Me too. Yes, immediately now. Go. All right, so this impossible fortress, this whole layer Improbable Fortress is you're only capable of going through it if you're a Lord of Change. So if you're a giant Birdman attorney at law, you're able to navigate this maze and get to the fortress. But when you get to the fortress, you're met by a giant mouth. So kind of like my mom. This giant fucking mouth. And it asks you 9 of 9,999 questions. Just like my mom. And guess what? You will always be wrong.
Just like your mom.
Dude, I am trying so hard right now. It's not working.
You and me too. You and me as well.
Yes, I blame you. Alright, so basically the only way to gain entry to this like giant library of nerdom
Is your mom?
Yes. Which is congratulations, you are not getting in because my mom thinks you're not good enough.
I can hear the sandal being thrown from here.
It's gonna hit me, don't worry. So you answer the riddles of I'm gonna fuck this up. I'm sorry.
What is the airspeed velocity?
Zaratak.
Laden or unladen?
No, this is for real lore, guys. Like this is 100%. Like for real.
I'm convinced the Guardian at the drawbridge was an avatar of Tzeentch.
Oh,
Because he
absolutely.
straight fucked with those guys. Like easy questions and then like
No, he is basically the Black Knight. Like he just asks you a question and you're like no, and you're like you fight him. But so he asks you 9 because obviously 9 is his favorite number, right?
what is he,
And
2D?
he asks you 9 of 9,999 etc. questions. And you have to answer all 9 correctly, right? And if you answer those 9 correctly, you are allowed entrance into this like giant palace of it's literally a library. It's literally a fucking like your public PBS kids, And Tzeentch is literally in the middle of that fucking castle, just reading away. The only person who was ever able to answer correctly was a small child with a dog. I want to specifically hear your guys' opinion about the small child. My opinion is it was the avatar of the Emperor performing a task for Tzeentch. I know this is going to bring up a lot of nonsense from you guys, but Milos, you go first.
I think since it was the young girl, it could mean that the child is its imagination and so on is untouched. Like so, you need some touch of insanity to be able to answer these questions and so on. And since child are untouched by sometimes by logic and are emotional, they have higher chance to go through and so on.
That makes some sense. You need some kind of level of insanity to like be able to interact with the guy who knows everything.
And even the sense of wonder, because the child, psychologically speaking, There's certain attributes that the mature people lost through the process of growing up and so on.
That makes some
Well,
sense.
that beats the shit out of my answer.
I got an add-on.
Alright, go.
I think I'm done. I don't have much more to say, or I'm to articulate it in English right
Well,
now.
I mean for the Warsmith.
Well, basically, you answered it, and you're right. Like, yes, absolutely. If for whatever reason, for whatever God's forsaken reason, somehow a kid and a Pomeranian somehow got to the goddamn mouth door of Tzeentch's castle, yeah, I imagine that it might just be that the odds might just be stacked in its favor, and it might actually get through the door. With like, what's your favorite color? What is your name? And why are you here? Questions. Like, and but you already said on the first one, to get there, to navigate the maze, you have to be a greater demon. So ultimately, it was probably either another avatar of Tzeentch doing something that, like, bipolar ass didn't know about, or it was just an avatar or another greater demon in disguise.
So you guys don't think that, so that I've seen a few, and I've read a little bit. For example, like the newest albums state that the Emperor himself has been acting in the universe. So you don't think that the Emperor went into as a little girl, changing the way he looks to gain the knowledge of Tzeentch?
I don't think when it comes to the warp, he would bother to shadow himself. Like,
Okay.
in person, yes, he changes his shape because mortal brains and whatnot. But in the land of hate believe, like it
Boys,
comes to
boys, here is what happened. You're gonna kill us, Jesus. It's okay. You're a Kansas native as well. You see,
Yeah.
Past Twister picked this young girl and her dog up. Past dropped on the fucking greater demon. And she walks in demanding to see the fucking wizard. That's what happened.
it's actually
I am literally Toto, and you will submit to my will. The Hypnotoad.
She got to the center of that castle. She sees Tzeentch, and she is incredibly disappointed because she was expecting David Bowie and his fucking codpiece.
That big dick, though.
I would also take as secondary Xerxes and his late.
Honestly, Xerxes is bae.
That's because you're insane.
Xerxes is Bane.
It is. Jesus Christ. I am a kind god. Soy un dios, pero bien bueno, oiga.
Oh, hey.
Sorry.
Good news, folks. It looks like that the thing is still going in a little bit. We may have the Dark Apostle dropping in.
Ooh.
Oh, great.
Yeah, Jesus, remember when you told me this thing, you're like, oh yeah, it'll be like an hour.
Half an hour.
Listen here, bruh.
How
okay.
the fuck have we been doing this now?
Do you want to know? Do you want to know?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, since we're on the subject of forbidden knowledge and all that
shit. 2 hours, 38 minutes.
Sweet galloping fucking Christ. Wow, okay.
I guarantee anyone who actually watches this is gonna, like, grab the goddamn time bar and, like, shift forward every, like, 15 minutes to see if we ever get back on topic.
Alright, so let's get back on topic.
Spoiler alert, kids, we don't.
I try.
We do in random intervals, so you gotta listen to the entire thing to get the story.
So I was talking about the Labyrinth of Tzeentch, right, folks?
I vote we get shot callers for the next time. So anytime we get too far off.
Honestly, I thought the
My penis can only get so erect.
so I really thought the fucking outline was gonna keep us like on track, and like
Put alcohol into this. No, nothing.
so look, bro, I'm a fucking logistician, okay? So like I operate within a set amount of like fucking goddamn lines and shit, okay? So when people
survives contact with the alcohol.
oh my god.
All right, please.
Rest in peace.
Let's try to focus.
Milos is the only one who has had a liquor of drink.
You poor bastard.
Milos, I'm
Well,
sorry, man.
it's all right.
It's not enough.
It's all right. I don't need to pay.
I actually really appreciate you showing up with this shit.
Well,
okay, you know what? I'm looking at my outline, and the realm of Tzeentch. It's very blurry. My woman is like, man, are you dying?
We're
like
like
outline, not your woman. You said you were looking at the outline. Is your woman the outline?
So we were at the Crystal Labyrinth, right? And like how it's all fucked up, and how the little girl with the dog,
who she was,
managed to managed to basically get through it.
Well,
So you know what? Let me go back to this fucking thing. So you guys know more about this than I do.
Maybe.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, I only have the 6th edition codex. And some old, I have the Architect of Fate and some older books. But starting with you, War Master, what's the current situation with Tzeentch? Go.
Define current situation.
So we know Magnus and his ilk assaulted Fenris. And it wasn't very successful. I mean, it was successful, but not in the main. Like they didn't destroy Fenris. They didn't destroy the Sons of the Wolf, etc., etc. What is their current post 13th Crusade status? Go. Do your thing.
Well, I mean, didn't Magnus try to stop Lemon from making it to Terra?
Yeah, he fought him on Luna.
He fought him on Luna, and then he failed as the pro usual.
Yeah, because Guilliman and plot armor.
Guilliman is literally plot armor.
We have clever space Roman who's really good at logistics, and then we have giant red demon who can rend reality with a mirror.
Let me remind you something. The line between chaos and something is logistics.
Sound philosophical.
Jesus Christ. So we have this shit in our fucking work center.
Of course you do. Does it have like a waterfall or something as a picture above it?
No, it's a whiteboard with a line.
That's called desperation and denial, bud. Trust me, I did logistics for a few years. That's desperation and denial.
The line between disorder and order lies in logistics. Some kind of Sun Tzu cheese.
No, that's not disorder. That was some guy trying to write back order.
Everything's back order. Stop bothering us.
Well, isn't it in the nature of Tzeentch to thwart the works of his own followers?
Look, he bamboozled himself.
Exactly. So I'm sure Big Bird dicked over Magnus at the last minute, just for the laughs. I mean,
oh yuck! I'll do it again.
I mean, that's largely why he does a lot of the shit that he does. It just seemed like it'd be funny at the time. I mean, what
Ugh,
the fuck
yuck.
else is he doing?
No, he straight up forgot.
I'll
that
be the
Magnus
eternal
was
god.
doing it
Ugh,
for him.
yuck.
He straight up forgot Magnus was doing it partially in his name, and basically he saw one of his avatars, his chosen. Apparently, that he saw a sticky note somewhere in one of his walls, be like, Magnus is our guy. And looked down and saw that Magnus was doing something and going towards the Emperor. Like, man, that guy is way too close to the Emperor, and just like yoinked him back or something like that. Like he thought he was helping, straight up.
He was playing Chutes and Ladders. Unfortunately.
Shoots and ladders would have been predictable. This shit was like fucking Monopoly.
Not when you play 9-dimensional Chutes and Ladders, my friend.
Screams in Spanish.
Like, it involves the webway, the warp, and a whole bunch of other fuckery you can't even comprehend.
The reason the Eldar fell is because they were cheating via the webway.
Yeah, they stopped using the chutes. They only used ladders. Dicks.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, in his own way, ironically enough, for all that he hates Nurgle for it, his change, all his wonderful, predictable, and it's unpredictable.
Here's an odd thought for you. Because he keeps dicking himself about, even though he hates stagnance and entropy, his own self-fuckery stagnates and commits entropy to his own plans. They don't go anywhere. They
Precisely.
Never do
He will never succeed because he's busy some other.
Because if he succeeds, that means he can stop planning. If he stops planning, he stops being Tzeentch. I think that's like the important.
Exactly.
Back in a bit, guys.
I think that's the important takeaway, is that like he just likes to plan. It's like the guy that I was like, ooh, this will be a good army, and like he like sets it up and adds the fucking like miniatures to the like the cart on GDub, and is, you know what? I don't have enough money, so I can't do this shit.
It's like those fucking assholes who plan for zombie apocalypse. You know, they've got their fucking go bag and everything, and you're like, dude, zombies aren't fucking real.
Just say art.
Yeah, your go bag is fucking stupid.
Oh, your get back home bag or whatever?
No, her fight the goddamn undead hordes bag.
Listen, you only need two things in that go bag. Crack and a machete.
Thank you.
I knew you were holding out on me.
So we moved on.
Alright, so like the very last, if we're gonna look at this fucking outline that I think I put down together, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was drunk most of the time. I was asking you guys about like their status in the 8th edition, and it seems like they're still post Fenris. They're kind of like licking their wounds.
More or less, I mean, they finally got a planet in real space. Like, I imagine they're probably fortifying the shit out of it, both mystically and practically.
Okay.
And getting ready for their final dust up with the Space Corps.
That makes sense.
Because I mean, when it comes to toppling the Imperium, the Thousand Suns always struck me as a lot less interested in that as they are, kicking.
For sure. You, Milos, what's your opinion on them at like towards the end of the 41st millennium?
Well, the thing is that Magnus was forced to kneel before Abaddon. One point that he has to take orders from Chaos Undivided, partly. So to take a part in Abaddon's escapade. And I agree with War Master that when Roos will return, he will be mightily pissed. And we can get some kind of showdown between
them. And then
them.
we will never hear the fucking end of it. The page. No matter who wins. we will never hear the fucking end of it.
Exactly.
Man, it'll keep Warhammer for whiners in business for like years.
Oh, jeez. So I know
Anybody
it's
else's thoughts on Big Bird?
so. I know this is something I was kind of avoiding because there's no like concrete evidence, and we have that stupid fucking article that came out recently. Psychic Awakening.
Well,
Warmaster. Go.
Planted in the fluff, they'd always kind of stated that humanity as a race was slowly waking up to their psychic potential.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this could be. I probably won't say Tzeentch's because I mean he can't pull his head out of his chest or ass long enough to see a plan through. But hell, it might be Magnus's or Ahriman's endgame to, if you can't beat them, make them you. If humanity suddenly becomes a fully psychic race, the differences between them and the Thousand Sons are suddenly a lot less. And I mean, the Inquisition and the Ecclesiarchy and so on and so forth will only be able to do so much. The Ordo Malleus is going to be fucked. Like they'll have no idea what to do. You can't exterminatus the Imperium. So if this is their end game, well done. You know, you did it.
Do you think humanity as a whole, will be better off?
No, I think humanity as a whole will be fucked. They are gonna get just devoured by demons that they have been told don't even exist up until suddenly, hey, I can see them. Oh god, they can see me. Why do they have all that leather? I don't see any lube. Emperor, save me.
And you, Warmaster, what's your final kind of closing thoughts about this?
This great psychic awakening, I think it'll make for a fuck of an interesting campaign, depending on what they do with it. Like they can just add some rules and have another cumbersome top-heavy fucking psychic phase like they did an edition ago, which will be really bad. Or they could take this opportunity to do what they seem to have been doing and really drive the narrative forward and make shit really interesting.
Do you think it'll be end times level of interesting, or will it be?
God, I hope not. I saw that fucking article on Bella Lost Soul earlier today or yesterday or whatever.
And that's where I was driving this end comment towards. Like, will that? Do you guys really think that's backed up lore wise? Or
God, no. They're not going to kill their cash cow.
Space Marines, metal boxes.
Well, in all honesty, and this is going to get rid of the rest of our view, such as they are, except maybe Milos' friends and our cultist, but even they might walk away. Everyone's going to bitch and storm about the progression of Primaris, and yes, eventually, the old model Astartes, I'm sorry, they're going away.
Oh, you think they're going away?
The molds and the character design are as old as the goddamn game in some cases. Not necessarily the molds, but the
Especially Eldar. Especially Eldar.
and keep your personal wage out of this for me.
Look, bro, they threw us a bone with Banshees, but no one uses Banshees 8th edition anymore.
Who knows what other aspect warriors are going to get? Not the point.
No, for sure.
So, yes, like, everything's getting updated and some things are changing. Arcades losing his armor-plated bell-bottoms, which he is upset about. But they're moving the story forward, and I think after 30 years, damn near, or more than, I think the army needs some new uniform. You know what I mean? Like, you're wearing the same... we're in the Cold War and still wearing World War II. Come on, let's step it up a notch, huh?
For sure.
And yes, it's going to move the plot forward. Yes, it's going to piss people off, but either people are going to accept it, either begrudgingly or otherwise, and you're going to get people with knights and that kind of thing. When knights were first dropped, everyone's like, well, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, knights were annoying to face off against.
And now everyone's just kind of like, oh, okay, knights, cool. Whatever, rock on. I'll bring a couple of melta guns and get fucked. Like, so it's gonna be what it is, and it's the same. It happened with Grey Knights. When Grey Knights came out of the books and came to the field, everyone was like, "What in the actual fuck?"
They were so OP. I stopped
now
playing in 5th edition.
And then
If I
people... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
If I could throw a counterpoint at this,
Yeah, absolutely.
being a crusty old timer myself, isn't exactly a huge fan of at least where they're taking royally starting. You can move the plot, which I applaud. I mean, everybody bitched that they brought Gilliman back. I loved it. You know, I just think that one of the main themes of the Imperium is this crumbling edifice, this stagnant beast that doesn't really even. I mean, the whole thing about the Mechanica, you know, they're building these things and they're maintaining them by rote. They're remembering prayer. They don't really understand how. And then to suddenly have, oh, by the way, here's all this brand new shit out of fucking nowhere. I can see where that can rustle some Jimmy. You know, not necessarily to the hyperbolic point that a lot of people make it out to be.
Oh, I entirely agree with their rustling. Forget, I'm a diehard fan of a lot of this shit too, and I entirely understand and get that they're like, okay, well, what the hell is all this advancement and everything like this? And I don't know if it's gonna last. Like, I don't know if like Primaris, like the knowledge of Primaris and like the ease and all this catapulting of technology is gonna hold, because eventually the Mechanicus is gonna get pissed off that
Call is literally doing whatever the fuck he wants.
Whatever he pleases.
Whatever he wants. Yes, he has a piece of paper that says Robute told me to, but like, at some point, someone's gonna be like, stop handing out gravity tanks, stop handing out new weapons, stop innovating shit without clearance from the fabricator general. Like, this stuff hasn't been approved. It won't be approved for at least a couple of centuries. What the fuck are you doing? Eventually, Call himself is going to get taken to task, and there's not a thing that Gilliman or Gulliman or whatever the fuck you want to call him can do about that. Eventually, the sovereignty that is the Mechanicus is going to come down on Call like a goddamn angry god.
By the way, guys, I am giving away a game just now. First come, first serve. Link is it's to whoever is watching this wonderful discussion of Tzeentch.
Who is watching this?
There's like there's like 9 people watching. So whoever claims that link,
holy shit, that is sad.
First come, first serve. Take it or leave it.
I didn't drink enough to hear that fucking number, man. 9.
Hey, we be starting, my guy. All right, like the.
Thank you. Thank you.
This has been a long and hard journey, if you will, to get this page to where it's been. Because unfortunately, a lot of people like to watch, but they don't like to follow.
Jesus, you can just admit that 7 of those people watching are just more tabs on your computer. You can admit that. We're okay.
Rise in Spanish, goddammit. I love you, baby. You're gonna work?
Please.
Oh my god, I'm still doing this thing.
I love you, and you look like you're having so much fun. I love you so much. I'm late.
I love you, chick butt, babe.
Okay. I love you too. I'll text you later.
I'm sorry, I'm still on.
We gotta wrap this bitch up, man. Like, I can debate Gord on this.
No, for real. Let's
floodgates on that one. Absolutely not. I was just offering a counterpoint.
No, I wanted to give something to the people that were watching. It's the Adventures Pals free game. Full, like, whoever claims it first, take it. I love you. You don't have to follow, but
It'd be nice if you did.
it would be nice if you did. And it's
Please, our fragile egos demand it.
We won't survive without this or the alcohol.
oh no, for real. Like it's mostly the alcohol.
Yoink.
But let's wrap it up, shall we?
Ooh, look, my howitzers are being reloaded.
So I'm gonna go in order. I know I got a little toasty.
Oh, I'm
Pretty-
sure it's gonna get here. I'm tired for it now.
Pretty fast. Oh, was you about to get on?
He was. He said he was gonna eat and smoke and then come on, so he'll be here in like 20 minutes or something like that. I don't know. That's a lot heavier than I thought it was gonna be. Oh well.
That's okay. We'll try to. So all Fridays are free for me, but we can talk about that later. Let's wrap it up, shall we? What is your opinion of Tzeentch, Lord Warmaster himself?
I fucking love Tzeentch. Tzeentch is probably my second favorite Chaos God after Glorious.
Of course.
Tzeentch is hilarious. I mean, it's just pure fuckery. Like, and I love it. The model's fantastic. I could paint Thousand Suns for days. They're the space Egypt that I love. Outside of that, I mean, magic.
For sure.
That was kind of the. I was going with that whole window list.
And for you, Mr. Warsmith, what is your general opinion of the Bluebird Boys?
I freely admit I'm a die-hard Cornate. Always have been, always will be.
Okay.
That being said, Tzeentch as a character, as an arc, as an option is fantastic. As Arcady said, he's fuckery. He is the excuse to do whatever the hell you want with a Chaos Army, even beyond the normal rules of cool Chaos Army and everything in general. Tzeentch, doing a Tzeentch and just saying like, hey, here's a magazine, done. That gives you carte blanche to do whatever the hell you want. It still makes sense. And they have sorcerers. Like, they have the option of sorcerers. You can go. It opens up the doors for so much options that Khorne definitely doesn't have, Nurgle won't have, and Slaanesh won't have. He gives the option for robust, robed academia in characters, in armies, in models, in painting.
So he just gives you all the options, basically.
He gives you options, and he gives you options you don't get otherwise, but by being who he is. Academia, in the scrolls, in the books, in the sorcery. Like, yes, everyone else has sorcerers except for Khorne, but still, there's a vibe to him that you won't get anywhere else.
Hell, even in the mods, I mean, the Exalted pack just so extra options and just different ways to build re-guide.
I will say this. One of my friends back in the day, and I'll say friends like very loosely. He was like, "Hey, bro, I want you to model a Khorne summoning ritual," and I was like, "Hey, dude, like I have to remind you, Khorne doesn't do that." So it was very difficult for me back in the day to do a quote unquote summoning ritual of a Khornate demon, because to me it made most sense. It made like absolutely no sense lore wise.
Well, we have Dark Apostle here.
Topic. I can counter that one. But that's for another day.
Oh, for sure. Other day. But I do like that Tzeentch basically represents, in the grand scale of things, just fuckery. he does, as you guys said, he just basically says, yes, that was planned. All of that was planned. But Milos,
Or was it?
Or was it?
Dun, dun,
Is that a John?
It is.
John, I
Welcome back,
need
Apple.
after Milos gives us his
Rebuttal.
no, of course, please. But after Milos gives us his overall opinion of Tzeentch, please give us yours. Milos,
Sure.
you're up.
Well, even though I'm a stalwart Imperial fan, I like the Chaos Gods, their lore, and Tzeentch is interesting because he is like the most chaosy chaos in itself. Like as he plots even against himself, he devours himself, and that's why like things like Melis or Malal are not needed anymore.
Oh geez, you said Malal. I expect a million emails.
You did this to yourself.
To get
I
a
did.
million emails, my friend, we would need more than 9.
It's okay. I'll delete. You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hit edit. I'm gonna hit edit. Select all. Delete.
Brutal. Just absolute
Each one of his-
savagery.
Each one of his ghost accounts is gonna send himself 100,000.
Why would you at me like that?
Honestly,
How
thank you.
dare
Thanks
you?
to you for staying through this.
Cries in Spanish. Cries in Crimson Fist.
Crying in Spanish intensifies.
Mr. John, the Dark Apostle himself.
Boy,
Hashtag late to the game.
hashtag was still at work until like 45
You know
minutes
what?
ago.
You know what? I have streamed on watch while I'm supposed to be guarding the barracks, whilst my dogs are barking. But you know what? That's how it be sometimes.
People don't think let be like it be, but it do.
Exactly. So John, I know you weren't here for most of the fuckery,
Mm.
but
So
give
I'm
us
probably going to be a little bit surreptitious, but here we are.
give us your overall opinion and like thoughts of Tzeentch himself.
Okay, so I need to make the preface that where I understand this is intended to be an inebriated event, I am inebriated adjacent.
Thank you.
It's Canada and it's legal here, so I'm only saying this because pot tends to make me have speech errors. So bear with me.
Thank you, and let me say that I'm living vicariously through you.
An earnest young person delivered my pot, and it was legal. So I'm living life right now.
Praise the God Emperor.
That is legal here. He's so sad.
It's legal.
Yeah.
It's legal in California, but I cannot partake.
Because you're not a California resident.
No, because I'm in the Navy.
Oh, in the Navy.
I am in the military.
In the Navy, you can do anything but smoke weed.
In the Navy, you can have sex with a Filipino prostate.
It's not wrong. Just the prostate.
Prostitute. God damn. My language.
No, I walked in and the first words I heard was, I think Tzeentch is the god of fuckery, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be fine.
Excellent.
I think we should.
Please,
came
John,
back to
John,
John's
proceed. Please
opinion.
save me.
No, you've done this to yourself. Literally by inviting us all into the chat. It's only gonna get worse from here. Yeah, no, as far as Tzeentch goes, I have some complicated opinions because I need to start by stating that Tzeentch is probably my least favorite of the Chaos Gods. Not that I dislike Tzeentch.
You know what? You're one of the first because everyone else has said, you know what? Tzeentch is actually a pretty cool dude. And you're the first person.
Tzeentch is a pretty cool dude, though. To me, it's always going to be Slaanesh Corrin Nurgle and then Tzeentch. I like all
That's
of them.
perfectly fine though, because everyone else has said, you know what, Tzeentch is lit. He's like second place to everyone else, but like you're the first person to say that he's the last place. So please proceed.
First off, Tzeentch is literally lit. There's a lot of blue fire. Couldn't help it. As far as my opinion of Tzeentch, though, it's kind of complicated because there's a lot of lore behind him and a lot of it contrasts, which fits his theme. I think realistically, the big thing for me is he's basically the chaos god of chaos. He's responsible for a lot of the mutation. He's basically the embodiment of the warp. If you go back far enough in the lore, he's actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm surrounded by lore nerds, so I'm sure it'll happen, but he's basically the god of hope, actually, is his positive point. So he's change for not necessarily just the sake of change, but change for a purpose, whether that be good or ill is subjective. Me being a Word Bearers fan, I have a fairly complicated opinion of the Chaos Gods in that they're, because of, and whether or not you believe this is subjective to your opinions based on what you've read in the lore, I suppose, but based on kind of going back even into just the Horus Heresy, the Chaos Gods made a deal with the Emperor, and then the Emperor betrayed that deal. So then we're looking at, there's a war footing, and everybody's like, well, if the Chaos Gods have good aspects, why are they always like vile and evil and crazy and mutated? And that's fair, but my counter to that is if you were invading someone, you wouldn't send like fluffy kittens, like you'd send warriors.
Unless you were
And that's
Tau.
what. Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. Tzeentch in particular is interesting to me because, like Milos was saying earlier, he has plans against himself. He has plans that are specifically designed to fail so that another plan will succeed, and whether what the end goal of that plan is entirely subjective and immaterial. So realistically, as a Tzeentch player, you can sit there and, like, even if you lose, be like, oh, it goes according to plan, which is kind of annoying as a trope, I need to say, but it's not wrong realistically. As far as like the demons go, you've got an interesting mix, mostly ranged, very appreciable force as far as just general daemon fuckery goes.
Well, especially with the fuckery that, like, oh, you killed my demon, so he turns into 2 demons.
Yeah. And you killed those demons and they turned into demons. Yo, dog, I heard you like demons, so I demoned your demons so you could demon while you
because I finally read the 8th edition codex, and it's like, all right, so like my pink horrors are basically unending monstrosities.
Yeah, and then with like demonic rerolls, you're constantly getting them back. Like a couple of my friends were playing at our local, and the person who was playing Demons of Tzeentch was nearly tabled. And then there was just this one series of shattering rerolls that occurred in the course of one turn, and she was basically back up to full force, and everybody else at the table was like, fuck this game. So
no, for real, last tournament that I went to this Friday, I was playing Eldar, and I kept rolling 6s. I was like, yes, shred, kill them all. And she was like, wait, give me a second. And she rolled.
Kill
like,
them all
okay.
and let chaos feast on their souls.
And then they came back with like little red bastards. And I lost. I got 8th place out of 10 people. So
Praise Slanesh.
No, honestly, right now, Eldar are feeling a little owie, but
this is Tzeentch, not an Eldar pity party.
No, yeah. So I really appreciate that that point of view, honestly, when it comes to Tzeentch. Like, you're one of the first few. I know, like, Arcady is a Slanesh, and everyone else is kind of like Chaos Undivided. But the whole, like, actually being anti.
The fuck was that?
My dog. My dogs were fighting or playing or whatever the fuck they do.
No. One of them was just
Which
lying.
one is
The
the
other one's
drunk?
drunk and picked a fight.
Not wrong.
Let's get that right.
How dare you call me out?
Gordon, stop adding him like that.
Gin is yummy, right, puppy?
I will not.
Lucas is like,
funny.
Lucas is jumping up and down like, why would you do that to your dog?
Jesus, man, I love you, but fucking end this, man.
All right, guys. So we have heard it. The Mr. Tzeentch is a fucking troll, a fucking asshole. Amazing yet terrible. But honestly, I really appreciate the whole Mortival coming together for the past 3.5 hours.
Fuck,
I am sorry to have missed that.
No, this thing was supposed to be half
don't
an
be.
hour.
This shit was supposed to be 30 minutes. In and out. But like a girlfriend, you stuck around.
Well,
Don't worry, Jesus.
wasn't it?
Just a quick 20 minutes conversation, and then we'll be right back. I swear it.
Of course. But I appreciate everyone who joined us for our lovely conversation of Tzeentch. Our next episode will be to be announced because I'm sure everyone would like to recover.
Hi, Dan.
But shout out to the Bastard Alchemist on his Instagram for this lovely drink. And thank you for joining us. Honestly, it's been a great time talking about Tzeentch. Who won the game? Guess what? Everyone lost the game. No one won the game.
No, the actual game, Farsier.
The game.
God damn it! I lost the game.
You did lose the game. So did I.
The one you were handing out on to the viewers.
I have no idea. So whoever clicks on that link and redeems it on Steam gets it first. I don't give a fuck who.
No shout out for the game winner.
So you know what? Well, I won't know who actually won it, unfortunately.
Hey, game winner, whoever you are, if you're watching this, we love you secretly.
Yes.
We'll never tell
And
you
if you guys could do us a solid and follow Lucas at the Bastard Alchemist, that would be awesome. He made the wonderful drink that was presented today.
That absolutely tired.
Jesus Christ, I was drunk as fuck. I had like 4 of these before the video, and then I had like 10 of these after the video, like during the video. And I'm sure it was difficult for everyone to get the times right, but any critiques, everything, whatever.
Now, fuck
Let us
critiques.
know.
Send us your love.
Let us know. And if you have a chance, follow me on the Twitch. That would be awesome. And you know what? Follow the John Star on Twitch.
Oh, the John Star hasn't done shit in ages.
I don't give a fuck, John Star. Hey, listen to me.
A waste of your goddamn time. Don't
listen to me. As Kanye West said, I am God. Follow the John Star.
In the immortal words of Saint Kanye of West, fuck you, pay me.
And if you guys have a chance, follow me on Twitch. We're gonna be doing these once a month, hopefully. If I can wrangle these cats.
Oh God, we are.
I honestly appreciate it. Especially Arcady. His fucking Cetra videos are fucking hilarious, and Art Cultist does an amazing job. She's a great artist.
Yes, you do. Shut up.
Shoot. You know what? In fact,
take your compliments.
In fact, don't follow me. Find the Art Cultist. Find the Cetra Monster, and give them a follow. They do a really good job.
True.
So we're gonna do this again in a month, kiddies. Bring your friends. Let's
Bring.
see if we can crack into double-digit viewers next time.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Let's get
All
to
right,
10.
guys. Well, I'm gonna be ending the stream. You guys have a good night. My woman literally said I'm insane, which is great. Y'all have a good night. Bye.